G'day everybody, we are here with some more VCS action. The Dashing Buffalo versus Low Key. Once again, I am Everyday Hero. With me, as always, is Yulwei. How are you tonight, man?
Hello, I'm so hyped for this last series. We will hit a long pause after this closing of week 2 of the VCS, and we get a banger before we have to go into the pause. Dashing Buffalo, as you can see, just below Low Key Esports, both sitting at 3 and 0 so far. So let's see which one of these two teams actually is the best team in the VCS. What do you think, looking ahead?
I think it's a little bit hard to call here. Personally, I think Dashing Buffalo is probably the favourite going in, but not by any wide margin. I think we are in for an absolute cracker of a series. And I think it'll be a big thing to go into this Rift Rivals break as the #1 team. That's big for your morale.
Absolutely. Oh, wow, Wazo, what have you
Oh,
done? I like it. It looks cool.
he wants
I'm
to
a
look
fan.
more like Aatrox. He's doing
I'm a fan.
Aatrox IRL.
Interesting. Did not expect him to look like that. But yeah, I'm a fan. We have a lot of great players hitting the Rift today, especially looking at jungle and mid lane position, I think. Null and Artifact might be the front runners for best mid laners in the league right now. DR1
Yep,
comes to mind as well with pop-up performances, but I think especially in terms of consistency, these two mid laners have really shown that they are the backbone of their team.
absolutely. We see a lot of emphasis in draft being put for both of these mid laners, just putting them on safe, stable champions quite often. Not necessarily huge pop-off performances, but that's not what's being asked for them. They're just these backbones of their team.
Absolutely.
Mid lane doesn't lose, so when you put them in the lane together, one of those backs has to break.
I
That's
think
going to be super.
Artifact is a little bit different than Null is really is the stable mid lane backbone, as you said, for Dashing Buffalo. And Artifact can be the hard carry for Loki as well. I think he's the best player on the team,
True.
and he has had some pop-up performances, but they're still probably the strongest point in the map for either side. Null just a little bit more of the facilitator, Artifact more of the carry. Very interesting to look at for this matchup.
Yeah, but looking at the bands coming in so far, pretty stock standard here. The only thing that really deviates from straight tier list is the Elise band, but I think in the VCS, that's a really good band. We've got a lot of junglers that love to play early. Elise loves to play early.
Yep,
Makes sense to take her out.
and
Aatrox and Aurelia, normal.
it's a good sign that they ban away the release on for Dashing Buffaloes, because I think Meliodas is not that much of a release player. Has not played her a single time so far in the season. Actually, his most played jungler, very interestingly, is Olaf. Olaf does not see too much play in VCS, even though he's a strong jungler all around the world now. But most VCS Olafs don't really get going in the early game. So Meliodas tries to bring a little bit of global matter to the VCS. I think overall, Dashing Buffalo probably the most global matter oriented team. They brought out the Sona as well as the only team here.
Yeah, I think they are they're definitely the only ones to bring out the Soda Tarek. Looking at the bands here, it's actually, this might sound a bit weird, but this is looking really standard, and I'm happy about that because we've seen some very questionable pick and ban phases in the VCS, but it looks like in this clash at the top of the table, we're going to see something that makes a bit more sense.
That being said,
Going
two
double,
power picks are still left available. No, that's not the power
uh,
pick.
that
Yeah,
could
it's
happen. We've seen a Heimerdinger.
yeah, it was
We
Hugh
have,
in the bot lane. Hugh is the mage player, right? So don't really expect Bikoro. Oh, Bikoro has played Sona, so maybe his Heimerdinger mechanics might be on
but
point as well.
I don't think you pick Heimerdinger over Karma,
No.
and I'm glad we didn't see the Dash Buffalo do that. That's a huge pick.
Yesterday,
Uh,
we actually had a series where Karma went unpicked, unbanned in one game. I was so mad. It was ridiculous. I have
it
no
was
idea
insane.
what happened there. Meta read completely off, but Loki locking in a strong counter as well. No Sejuani so far. Dashing Buffalo
Yes,
might come
Sejuani,
away with Sejuani and Karma in one draft. That's
that's disastrous if that happens. I hope Loki has something prepped. Yumi being picked up, I mean, Jesus, if Yumi gets locked in here and then a jungle like Sejuani, Big Koro, I hope you're ready to put the carry pants on. He's going to be
absolutely.
set up for that. almost certainly. I am judging by Raizo's play style. I imagine it's more likely to be a mid lane Karma.
Yeah,
I
I
think
would
that would
agree.
suit normal. Definitely not a sure thing. Still a flex, but
I
ooh,
I mean, it's nice to see a J4 picked up, because J4 are also criminally underrated in DVCS, but there you have Sejuani open with this shielding composition, which is already almost unbeatable in the late game if you pick up Sejuani here. It's not too much worse with J4, but just go for the best pick available. Don't really understand the J4 login. More early game pressure, obviously, but you are already centered around poke and lane, so you don't really want to gank for these lanes. Anyway, you just need to shadow the lanes. They will win automatically. Karma super good in lane. Yumi probably the strongest laning support in the game, so don't really understand the thought process behind the J4. This could be a top lane focused draft now for Dashing Buffalo if they go for Renekton or something like that.
I mean, there is an interesting. I think your analysis is very much correct, but let me just throw a little wrench in your gears. What if they're doing one of two things? They're trying to say to DNK, you have to play Sejuani, and they might have knowledge from scrims, that sort of thing, that maybe he's not particularly strong on it. And if it goes through the bans here and isn't picked immediately by celebrity, they pick it and just play top lane Java.
Oh
We'll see.
wow, I would like to see that approach. Imagine the composition. Hard carries
Exactly.
bot lane with Sejuani and J4 as initiators and two shielding support T champions, not two supports. Karma is still very much emancipated mid laner there, but yeah, two
Yep.
supporty, shieldy champions behind that sounds like a ridiculously strong death ball composition. Bit like season 7 there. Double tank line, ADC.
Yeah.
Look
I
at
mean,
the
it's. I don't think that's likely, but I actually would really like to see it.
yeah.
It'd be a really good pick.
Look at this. Olaf banned away from the Dashing Buffaloes. That's an interesting adaptation. To be fair, two Olaf games also on DNK, so these are the two Olaf players in the VCS facing off against each other. Sejuani might get unpicked or banned in this game, which is kind
Insane
of
if that happens.
hilarious. Yeah, VCS is really hurting Sejuani's global presence rates, and Riot Games probably looking at the global rates there, and yeah, okay, it's only sitting at 80% presence, so she's not OP. We don't need to nerf her.
Of
Fair
course
enough.
not. I like the Sivir pickup here. I
Wow,
also like. I think we'll see just a handshaking lane down bot.
look at that composition. That's
This is
deadly.
strong.
That's
Super.
that's a Silvercomp. That's the Mimi Silvercomp. You just oh no, please not. No,
Not
that's
against
oh
it.
what?
What? Why do you react like that? I don't think it's terrible.
It doesn't
It's not
fit
what
the
I would have.
composition. It really does not fit the composition. I would like to see a strong top lane champ that can dominate lane and
Ooh,
initiate.
hello.
Oh,
Ooh, that's been locked. That's
yeah, that's Gragas Yasuo against
Yep.
Azir, which is a nice adaptation. I don't think Gragas Yasuo is able to kill Karma too often, but Azir is probably an easier target.
Yeah, I mean Azir you can absolutely kill. Sivir is pretty hard because obviously you can spell shield the barrel
Yeah,
if it's not baited out. So interesting. I personally, I'm not a big fan of Gragas Yasuo except in the bot lane. I think that's where they
really?
shine.
Wow.
I mean, I think it's good regardless, but I think it's great in the bot. I think that's where they super shine. There's so much kill potential. Yasuo does just fine as a bot laner, can all in, etc., etc.
Hmm.
We're gonna have to see how this gets played here. We haven't. I don't think we've seen Gragas Yasuo in the VCS so
I think we have seen one game, maybe, in the very beginning of week one. I'm not sure. Just saw Yasuo Igragas yesterday. The only win for an A actually came from Igragas Yasuo combination for a Liquid against G2. So,
yeah, G2 bit free.
yeah. But yeah, I think the Gragas Yasuo in the mid lane has the big upside that it's controlling everything around mid lane at level 6. There's very few champs that can actually stand up to Gragas Yasuo. I think something like Karma or Sejuani could have actually challenged them. Just shield the Karma and survive the burst, and then you have consistent damage on the Sejuani and Karma. Sejuani does a lot of damage in the early game, so I would have liked to see the mid lane come, and that's kind of why I didn't see the Yasuo. That's very fair, but I reacted like I did to the Azir pick because I thought this is a death ball comp, so just pick a top lane dive champ, focus around top lane in the early game with your J4, dive the top lane. Maybe Renekton would have been great. Then you just press group up, double speed buff Renekton into the back line, follow up by J4. That's such a great team composition. I don't really see the purpose of Azir here.
I think it might just be sort of. It might have been a read that it was going to be Nico mid. Which I don't think is would be a particularly logical read from Dashing Buffalo, considering Harney has played it several times and it's looked really good on it.
It's best champ, definitely.
Yeah, but if not, it might have just been a nod towards the stable wave clear that they want out of Null. But that's going to be really hard into Gragas Yasuo because he'll just die at level 6.
Yeah, he went TP, and now he has to play really defensively, especially around level 6, which is really not what Dashing Buffalo wants from Null. Null, as we alluded to before Champion Select even started, Null is the backbone, Null is the stabilizer and the facilitator of the team. He needs to have mid lane pressure, usually up over 10 CS at 15, the quiet carry for DBL, just with insane mid lane control and very good laning. And now on Azir against Yasuo, even though Azir can dominate lane, he's not really prone to absolutely blowing the game open through mid lane. So don't like this pickup. We'll have to see how Null performs on this one.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting. I mean, I don't particularly favour Azir picks globally at the moment. I feel like it's almost a trap pick where people look at him and say, "Oh, Azir should work at the moment," but he just doesn't.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon we have seen a little bit in pro play. Every now and then, it's a little bit of laziness. I know LS, for example, hated Spring Split Cannon because he thought Cannon was just a lazy pick. Whenever you don't know what you want to pick, what you want to comp out with, just go for these lazy picks, as you can. You can kind of see where I'm going there, right? Because Azir, he fits everything. He has damage, he has okay wave control, he can just scale into late game, good defensive capabilities. He doesn't really do anything special. He's just a very stable pick, and a little bit, that's why I'd like to call him a little bit lazy.
Yeah, I think that's actually a very good way to describe it. Sort of just picked when, oh, what fits this comp? Oh, we didn't really see Champion Select going this way. Yeah, pick Azir.
Yeah, it'll pick Azir. Exactly. Yeah.
Meliodas making a bit of an aggressive move over here.
A little bit late.
Spot but it's not going to matter. Still, that's free information on where he is. They should spot the recall as well. He knows he's got scuttle control.
Yeah,
that was actually a fact as well.
That would have been a really big invade if he was a few seconds earlier. I think he could have challenged with a smite. And imagine he gets this blue buff. Gragas without blue is really struggling in the early game. So, yeah, almost a big advantage for DBL, but Meliodas at least gets both craps now, so a little bit of an advantage still secured. DNK not too unhappy, just wants to hit 6 and camp mid lane. That's all he needs to do this game.
Pretty much. And Artifact looking pretty good on this Yasuo. He's pretty clearly got some of the mechanics going. He's really getting up in Null's face whenever he can, using those opening windows where he's got his flow shield and that. It's really important on the Yasuo to be able to do that. It sounds basic, but it's a bit harder than it sounds because you are obviously a melee champion into a ranged champion, which is not much fun. Especially because he can't block much from his ear.
Yeah, that is true. Yasuo's usually pretty fine in ranged matchups because he can avoid a lot of attention through his dashing. Now Bikoro and Palette under a little bit of pressure. Oh, nice ward.
That's lucky timing. A few seconds before and they would have walked straight into Gragas.
Very true. Yeah, as we have a little bit of time because the game is pretty... Oh, never mind me. Never mind.
It's just on a Yuumi. Palette will get into Big Koro.
That was very risky. Look at Yuumi's HP. He was almost bursted down. That's why you pick Nautilus into Yuumi, because you can actually stun her for longer than almost any other support champ. You have so many CC tools. And if he was 6 there, Yumi was dead. Oh, wow, the dive comes in now.
Ooh, this is a 4-man dive here. This is gonna be a kill. Big Coro just gets absolutely nuked, and it's the 2-for-1 for $2. Oh, Venus though, come on, this
Whoa,
is
what's going on
come
here?
on. They've gone to the drive-throughs, messed up their order. It was meant to be a 2-for-1 chicken deal, and they've gotten the burger instead. Not what they wanted.
The TP
It's going
timing.
wrong.
Oh, never
The
mind.
chicken's off. Oh no, they've got salmonella. This has all gone wrong here for the
Oh no,
team.
Loki.
Oh, they're all gonna die. This is tragedy at the KFC. Oh, this
Oh.
is really, really bad.
Oh god, 2 kills to the Sivir,
Oh
who is
no.
now first priority to lane as well. Oh, Celebrity actually has a TP, so not as bad, but yep, that's not what's supposed to happen there. Very aggressively set up dive, even invested that top lane TP. So how does this go wrong? Vikoro spots
They should be
DNK
falling.
here. DNK does not. Oh, he actually does not block anything with the spell shield. So now they get the. Oh, Venus gets turret aggro. I'm not sure. Oh, he tanked from the start. So it's a 3-stack turret aggros shots there. Very lazy recall initiative for Hani. I think. Yeah, Hani had to stay. They were just completely oblivious to the fact that Big Koro had his TP available, which is a really big mistake. They have TP on their own ADC. They should check summoner spells.
I mean, that's like even solo queue shit.
Yeah,
Like
that's just yeah. It's just
this early in the game, has the TP been used? Because it's not going to come back up. That's a little bit
yeah.
amateurish there.
That's really lazy. I mean, the where should the Sivir TP have gone before? You have to count on the Sivir TPing back in, especially with Meliodas pathing down there. So big mistake
It
by
was
Loki. Looked like a very good play set up. I think looked pretty solid. A
yeah,
good dive,
the
executed
initial
well on
dive was
Honey.
close.
Yeah. Look at the
But
investments made. Two flashes blown on their side. Ignite expanded from Venus, so it's a very squishy Nautilus now. Yeah, without flash. Top lane has profited a lot for Rezo as well. Rezo probably one of our front runners for best top laner so far. And look at this CS lead. He's running Klepto as well, so he's so much richer than Hani is right now.
oh yeah, there's a huge gold gap there. He has already beat and used his TP.
Yeah.
Couldn't join that bot lane play, but he didn't need to.
Yeah, he even mined 2 platings, so 320 gold out of the platings. Interestingly, it's even in gold. Where does the gold come from for a Loki's side?
Actually, trying to figure that out. There must be a significant lead somewhere.
It's it's very
I
confusing.
mean, first blood.
But First Blood is
First blood.
not that much more valuable. I mean,
Uh,
did they get a plating? No, they didn't even get a plating bot. I'm really confused where the gold's coming from.
a little bit CS on the support, I suppose. Maybe there haven't been particularly good support gold for the Yumi.
Yeah,
That's all I can
assist.
see.
Yeah, more assist gold can't be true either because they got DBL got an assist on every kill as well. So assist gold is not
Yeah,
the
well,
answer. Very confused.
and
But the problem for Loki is they are even gold, but most of their gold is actually on their support player. 2 kills for Nautilus, which is not a great look for the later stage of the game. Actually gives them a little bit of a diving advantage for bot lane. They can repeat dive. Bakura still has a slash available though, and both defensive summoners up for Yumi, so this dive is pretty risky.
yeah, I don't know if it's the best idea. I think this is a little bit wiser if they want to set this up. Ooh, you're in some serious trouble, Noel. That's Gragas
Yep,
Yasuo, everyone.
that's not even what Gragas Yasuo is supposed to do. This was Yasuo all on his own, getting pretty much a solo kill there because he landed his tornado. He didn't even use the Gragas knock up, so usually, wow, this can turn horribly wrong for Loki.
Bad timing. Ooh, they should be. Oh, never mind. Pallet with the prowling projectile. God, such a strong ability.
Yes.
Hunts him down, breaks his ankles, and Celebrity won't be going home
Oh,
tonight.
that was so unfortunate for Loki. They actually set up this play pretty well because their jungler was already on his way, but just a few seconds off the play because Meliodas once again shows very good counter ganking time. Their timing, I should say. So Meliodas has looked very good on his J4 so far in terms of defensive jungling, covering for his lanes, especially for bot lane. There was nothing he could do. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's
Sorry,
Yumi for you. That's Yumi.
yeah, my mic was muted for a moment there. Sorry, I was reacting. Yeah, no, that was a lot of damage. Yumi under tower just doesn't even matter. You never save from the final chapter.
And look at Yumi already. Wow, Yumi is already hitting a very strong spike here. Already secured 2 kills as well. So this Yumi might actually hit something like 150 HP pretty soon, which is hard to deal with in laning phase. Even with lifesteal on your Lucian, if she lands a full, level 9 Q, level 5 Q I should say, level 9 ability, so maxed out ability, he will probably do like 300, 400 damage. That's not nice as an ADC.
That is a very bad time. But we do see a strong move here by Venus up towards the top lane, trying to secure the Rift Herald. Still got 3 minutes if they get it to drop it on a tower plate. They should get it. There's no contest coming in from DBL.
Yep, it's a trade for Dragon. They had bot lane control, so Loki could not contest the Dragon, which is a strong early game Dragon, and they decided to swap their support to the top lane to get the free Rift Herald. It's a very usual trade. Unluckily for them, they lose a lot of gold, I should say, in the bot lane with 2 solo plates probably going over to the ADC. That's already accelerated, so in the end, does not really work out in their favor. Still ahead in gold, though.
Yeah, but I mean, this is really not what you want to see if you're a low-key fan, because this bot lane, Lucian Nautilus, I think you're meant to have more pressure. Lucian does so much more damage than Sivir in the early game. Obviously, Yumi on her own gets quite a lot of lane priority, but overall, I don't think they wanted to see that as a losing matchup. And I mean, it's not horribly lost. It's 1 kill in the end, but the turret plating is the really bad thing to see.
Yeah, and Lucian is already has fallen behind this Sivir, which is really not great. This Sivir is protected by Karma and Yumi. How are you ever supposed to kill the Sivir? She can spell shield your best catching ability on the DNK's Gragas there, so no immediate access for artifact into the backline either. And even if he gets in there, he gets immediately exhausted by Palette. Palette will use his ult to lock him down, so don't even think if they land a clean Gragas Yasuo comp in the mid or later stages of the game, Bikoro dies there with Karma shield, double heal from the Athene's backing him up as well. That's really hard to kill Sivir. So this is, as you said in Champion Select, this is hard carry big Koro setup.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a bit of a raid boss setup. All those heals, all those shields, Null using a wall to make space. Yep. This is, I mean, keep your eyes fixed pretty firmly on Big Koro, because it's really on him to make or break this game here for the Buffalo. But he's got all the tools he needs.
Yep, and there's one very important ability we have to track in teamfights later on, which is obviously the Wind Wall, a game-changing ability on the Yasuo. I would have actually liked to see as a... okay, they picked the Nautilus very early on in the draft, but if they had the opportunity to counter-pick support as the... not as a lane counterpick, but as a composition counterpick.
Ooh, Nautilus Yasuo. The wall goes up though, and Null actually gets away. Has to use his flash, but he lives.
Yeah, that's the difference between Gragas Yasuo and Nautilus Yasuo is the damage. The CC obviously works the same, and we saw very clean engage, the flash hook invested from Venus, but sadly they don't have the AP burst damage from the Gragas. If Gragas was there with the cask and a Q follow-up,
oh, the engage here. They tried to tank the tower to take it down, and Venus is going to pay for it with his life.
Wow. That's a really big miss there from Venus. He gives up a shutdown.
Going for the solo kill here on Han. He flashes out of the ult. Doing well. He needs to get one more spell on him, and he can't. Harney's going to live.
Oh, no, Razor.
Hey, Razor, you're... don't think this is where you live, mate. Get out of our neighborhood. Who are they going to give the kill to? It will be Artifact. Yeah, so that's a good choice.
They waste a lot of time, so at least DBL is able to get something back. A lot of pressure on the top lane, and Hani has to be very careful. Flash invested for him, so now no flash for the next probably Dragon team fight. That being said, Next, Dragon Ocean. Not something Loki needs to contest there. By the way, this is an Azir that would make Nemesis proud. If you followed a little bit of the LEC or even just the Rift Trials broadcast, Nemesis absolutely hates Luden's Echo Azir, and he always rants about Luden's Echo Azir being absolutely useless. So yeah, this is a Nemesis Azir following Nemesis build path with the Nashor's Tooth first.
I mean, it's always good for the game if there's actually debate over which build is better. It's a lot less fun if there's just an answer.
Absolutely. And we also see a very good build out of Koro, going for the 2-item power spike. We have talked about this item build for Sivir and Xayah a lot on this broadcast. And I think going for 2 items on this composition with the accelerated Sivir will give them a lot of time to look for the later stages of the game and bridge the gap that's kind of there in the team compositions compared to Loki. Big advantage in terms of picks and power spikes for Loki. But if the Sivir has hit 2 items, at the time where Yasuo has hit 2 items as well, I think DBL might even be able to take the mid-game team fights, which is not what they picked for.
Certainly not. Ooh, Hani's getting all in again. This is Karma. This is why she's got the ban rate that she does. Karma is insane.
Yeah, and this is not a great matchup for Hani. He goes for the usual Super Soaker build, and Karma has the freedom to go for her preferred first item, which is Athene's. And Athene's actually helps against AP matchups, obviously with the MR coming in there, so no chance for Hani to do anything. He's in the first place not the greatest 1v1 champion later on AP Nico. So Reizo absolutely stomping the lane. Not so much in CS, it's only 20 CS gap, but now taking down the turret. He got 3 platings of the turret, I think, so a lot of gold going over in the pockets of the DBL top laner.
Yeah, absolutely. He also took that tower with essentially 0 interaction from either jungler. So that was purely just 1v1, just showing the power of that Karma on 9.12.
Yep.
Which is obviously a little bit more fair on the live patch currently, which is nice, but still very, very strong. We do see Ocean Drake picked up there for low key, not a bad little consolation prize. And they also, we were talking about something else when it happened. They did get first tower in the mid lane as well, which is a nice gold injection. And we're at a pretty much dead even game gold wise.
Pretty surprising. I think the run of play has suggested that DBL is actually ahead, but they are not. Loki is holding them off pretty well. That being said, it's a bit of an early game composition. This composition will fall off a little bit. It's not like it's horribly bad in the late game. There's still AP Nico coming in with the playmaking potential. Obviously, Yasuo Gragas still works in the later stage of the game. Celebrity, what are you doing there? Whoa, Celebrity, this is risky.
This is really bold. Palette, you need to get into that you and me, though. Celebrity's on no health, but the reinforcements are coming. Sivir ult should get them out. They see the Predator pop. They know that there's still danger, but in the end, nothing happens.
Yeah, look at the minimap. Reizo gets more alone time in the top lane, so he gets to work on the second turret. Not the greatest split pushing champion on Karma, but he's built AP, and AP converts to a lot of turret damage nowadays, so still able to probably chip away at the turret. He doesn't even attack the turret because he wants the better reset timer. Fair enough. Could have gotten a little bit of damage on the turret. I think no one really was in position to punish him there. DBL looks for later. Not immediate advantage played for here. It's more of the go for resets, try to hold the tempo, and go for a little bit of scaling.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, getting that top inner doesn't do a huge amount for them at this point.
That's
so
very
it's
true.
Probably just better to just pick that up.
Yeah, look at this build. This is an interesting adaptation coming out from Reizo. He wants to go for the little bit of the utility adaptation there on Karma with a lot of armor. So he might look to 1v1 against Artifact in the side lane later on. Interesting.
I mean, I don't think he dies. Could again, Null being the slippery bird. As soon as he sees anyone, he spreads his wing and gets out. Too easy for him. Interesting how many are being committed. This is just the Buffalo are soaking up this gang squad moving
Yep.
around the map. And we really need to see Loki finding a play. And there they are. Meliodas is going to get absolutely.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
never mind. He lived. This is tragedy. Null takes a lot, but Hani goes down first, and it's going to be the disengage from the Buffalo.
Yeah, and we already see the problems of Loki's composition there. They don't have the damage to lock down the kills, and it will not get better from now on. There's the Karma. Karma will continue scaling up in terms of utility and shielding there. She can even tank a little bit once she completes her tanky build she's going for. So they almost bursted on Meliodas. Don't even get the kill. Meliodas did not have to flash. He got out there with a combination of E and Q, so not the greatest look for Loki. Hani even invested his flash to continue with the team fight. The team fight was already disengaged, and Hani flashed back in to try and lock down kills. And now he doesn't have his flash for the next team fight. So Loki, even though it's still a pretty even game in terms of gold, it's a big advantage in terms of team compositions here. Look at this again. Rikoro does not get stunned. They only get Meliodas in the ult. There's an artifact now. Has to flash out because of the threat from Karma Tether. So flash from Artifact gone, flash from Hani gone. Celebrity has his available, but he can't really do anything with the flash in the team fight. It's not strong enough to solo carry on the Lucian right now. Not the greatest look.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a problem for Loki there. Team composition not working out for them so far. DBL can take some time.
The one thing to keep in mind here is that the Grag Assault can be better.
Yeah.
Like, if he 3 people, that fight goes very, very differently. And while, yeah, you're absolutely correct, the team composition is looking weak, and we can see the weaknesses with this particular comp, there is still potential for the explosive team fight where the Grag Assault is just huge. Yasuo melts 3 people.
Yeah, it's very one-dimensional. It's I wouldn't say it's weak. There's still clear strength in the comp, but yeah, it's very one-dimensional, and it's relatively easy to react to for DBL. But I would have liked to see another tanky champion. That's why I don't like the Aze pick, because it doesn't really do anything for them here. He provides damage and a little bit of disengage, but they don't lack the damage to win against Loki's composition. They just need to disengage. If the initial CC and kills don't happen for Loki, Loki has lost the fight. There's nothing they can do. Yasuo will just die. He's too squishy a champion to not to continue team fighting as the sole carry threat there. So yeah, I still don't like the Aze pick. I think DBL will get away with it because Loki, yeah, I really struggle to see Loki winning this game from now on. They would need a really big pick on Sivir or Azir before the teamfight starts, I think, right now, to win an even setting.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the big mistakes that Loki's made here is Artifact went well in lane. Everyone knows that when you play Yasuo, you need to hit 0-5 as fast as possible because that's your power spike.
Jensen yesterday actually won a game without the 0-10 or 0-5 power spike on Yasuo, so might not be true anymore.
That wasn't canon. That was that's actually part of the new law. It doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
It's not real.
Yeah, this is an educational stream. We learn a lot about lore here. Most interesting and important part about League of Legends, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. The lore of Yasuo. Everyone loves it. But in all seriousness, this, as you said, this is DBL just needs to not give anything up for a while.
Oh, nicely done.
Well done by DNK there, but we do need to see Loki finding something to fight over, and at the moment that's very difficult. There's no dragon. Baron
look at the pings. Look at the pings. Oh, Null might get caught out. Here's flash available though.
Null is getting caught out here. Don't look at Artifact. What are we doing? The keg misses, and there's a stopwatch to stop that Nautilus ult. He does flash, but gets hooked. He goes down, but here comes the re-engage. Sivir ult popped again. A lot of damage from the Celebrity. Hani does use the ult to buy space, does pretty well.
Artifact is arriving now. Artifact, wow.
Re-engage. Meliodas gets bound up by the Yasuo, but he doesn't go down yet. Raizo takes a lot of damage, and he goes down in the end. That's
it's still Sivir. It's still... Wow.
Now.
This is a problem.
Sivir with they're all so low. He's going to get Triumph heals. No, he doesn't. Triple kill picked up for Artifact.
How? DBL, what have you done? Null getting caught there. It was such a telegraphed play as well, and he didn't flash in the right, didn't flash the right ability. Did not use the stash really well there. So now Loki finds the crucial find and will walk away with the Baron buff. Gives them a lot of power because the siege was a big problem for them with only Lucian and Nico a little bit able to hit the turrets. Now they have the Baron buff, so they can now set up 3-lane sieges. Big swing in the game. DBL with a big blunder, especially Null there. Has been such a consistent performer, but has not looked great on the not Yasuo, the opposite of Yasuo, the Azir.
Yeah, Yasuo is fun to watch.
Hey, Azir can be very fun to watch as well. I love Azir.
The streamer shuffle is fun.
Nicely done.
Ooh.
DNK with a very good flash E there. And,
Yeah.
try to focus on DNK. What does he actually? Did he lose connection to his mouse? Look at what he does here. Oh no, he got stunned. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
he
DNK.
found out.
I'm sorry. The animation from the Yumi ult is very, very bright. Hard to see.
This is a really good turn by
Re-engage.
Venus.
And it looks like Mikuro might actually be able to carry this fight. Look at the health bars. So what is,
Yeah,
Bikuro
he's
gets
too
caught
far up.
here. Yeah, Bikuro with a big blunder. Yeah, the spell shield was up even, I think, so he had to spell shield
It
the
was
grab
huge.
there.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but one more item on Sivir, and I think they walk away with the victory there. If she has 100% crit, I think she wins the fight 1v4 or 2v4 with the Yumi in her backhand. Unfortunate timing for DBL. And wait
This
a
is
moment.
a massive bit against the flow here. Getting an inner tower and a fair bit of damage on an in-him tower. DBL doesn't care that they don't have Baron.
And they only have the Nico on the bot lane. She's not the fastest split pusher. If the Yasuo was in her position, they could actually try to go for this kind of base raid or chase the enemy team away and go for a soul inhibitor push bot lane. This way, they only trade inner for inner turret, and even a bad trade for them because it's bot lane inner against mid lane inner. So Loki not reading the map too well, and now behind in terms of minion waves. The mid lane wave will need another minute to crash into the inhibitor, which is a lot of time. Baron buff only active for 1 more minute as well. Loki might not actually get a whole lot out of this Baron buff, which is not a great look for them. They still struggle to win team fights. Even though they won the last one, the team fights will not get easier from now on out. It's only a 3k gold lead too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they will get this dragon, which is nice. Ooh, wow. Meliodas doing the absolute maximum damage he could do to that blue buff and still hand it off. It was literally on 1 health.
Yeah. Luckily, I think the change came in that he can't actually last it with Cinderhulk, right? Because Cinderhulk would have taken the blue buff away. I think that change was implemented a few years ago even. So lucky for his mid laner there. Null almost level 6. What is happening there? Some weird spectator things going on.
Interesting.
Karma.
Spectator client is always a blast.
Yeah, I think spectator is just too confused to see Karma actually on the Rift. Karma is not supposed to be played. She's supposed to be banned. So going crazy over seeing a Karma here.
Exactly. DNK pushing forward to clear some vision out. Does get spotted, obviously, but doesn't matter. Retreats to his team, and this should be the top lane play. They've only got Baron for another 5 seconds, though. I don't think this tower ever goes down, and honestly, not the best Baron usage overall.
Really not.
Loki.
A good reaction by DBL. Very good proactive play. They had very little to work with, and they made the best decision there. Saw Hani without teleport. They probably kept track of his teleport timer, as Loki was not able to do in the early game. So very good capitalization of a little bit of a poor lane allocation there from Loki. Nicely done by DBL, extending the game once again. They show a lot more poise in the mid game than they did before. Their mid game looked iffy last week, but it's already looking much better.
Absolutely, it is. They've done pretty much exactly what they need to do, bar that one team fight, which was just Null getting caught. If that doesn't happen, then it's basically perfect. Ooh, good spell shield on the Nautilus ult there.
By the way,
Ult for ult trade.
I want to bring something to your attention, and every day, can you tell me what Sivir's role in this team composition is?
All the damage.
Yeah, and what is she building?
all the damage.
No, she's not building damage. What's that? That's
What
no damage at all.
do you mean? It's an Infinity Edge Essence Raver.
Yeah, that's not. She had the same items for the last team fight and was not enough to carry the team. So she goes defensive. When the team fight composition is completely set up to defend her, and yeah, shield her from everything, and yeah, get her a lot of extra
What would
HP.
you have done?
I mean, she
What would
needs
you have done
100%
with
crit. She needs 100% crit to win this game. I really don't like the stopwatch. I really don't like the QSS is kind of okay, but you're not supposed to get hit by anything. You can't
Meliodas?
QSS knockups anyway.
Oh, this is bad, Meliodas. This is Paulette as well. This is really bad. They were way too far forward. Yumi's going to die to the Ignite. Why are we so zoomed out? Can we zoom in just a little bit, guys? Like, what is
Oh,
going
they're
on?
under the
Tower
turret
dive
still.
coming. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to
Nice
matter.
stopwatch,
Look how much
Big Absolute value there.
artifacts in his Guardian Angel, though. This is really bad for DBL. They're going to get aced.
Yep. Big team fight victory once again by Loki. I'm not sure what Meliodas was doing there. Once again, not using his flash to get out of a dicey situation for him. I think
He
it
was
was
so
caught
far.
by probably a Hani E. We have to see that again. Baron just spawned, so another Baron will go down to Loki. Loki extends their gold lead and are now sitting on a very good position to actually win this game after it looked a long time in this game like they had no chance of winning the game. Big mistakes by DBL back to back, especially jungle not looking too hot today.
No, not at all. This is two team fights in a row that have gone disastrously for DBL, just based on the back of people getting caught.
Yeah, and the
Just
defensive
pushed up
items for
way
Big
more.
did absolutely nothing for him.
He didn't even get caught
No.
by anything. He just ulted.
Yeah, he initiated.
He could have flashed over to the Raptor pig.
Without,
why didn't he
without his
flash
karma being there, actually. I'm not sure about this decision at all. So look at Picoro,
This is
uses his
terrible.
flash. Now the insane stopwatch usage there. QSS is not even used, I think, in the fight at all. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a hindsight thing to say his items were useless, because I could not know that his items would actually not do anything in the fight. They could have saved him. But I still think it's objectively wrong if the team composition is set up for you to deal all the damage, to not go full damage as an ADC. You're supposed to be good enough at dodging, especially with Sivir Flash and Spell Shield available, to not go defensive here, and they really need his damage. He's gone with one of the lowest damage builds possible on Sivir, actually. No attack speed boots, the weakest of all the attack speed items in terms of stats, pure stats, on the Phantom Dancer, so he already has a defensive item with the Phantom Dancer, and goes two more defensive items after that. That's really not what you're supposed to do there.
That's a good point. Oof. This is where Windwall can also get a heap of value, just denying all the wave clear. You can't clear the waves while Windwall's up. It just blocks everything.
Yep. Very good point. But they wasted DNK's ult, so now no long range engage for Celebrity into the backline. Very good item choice. No, I'm not actually sure what blocked it for Null. Something blocked the ult there. Oh, they didn't want to go just on Null, I suppose, because he has Zhonya's available as well. He's able to dash under his own Nexus turrets. So no aggressive play for DNK and Loki this time, but they get the inhibitor. So finally, the inhibitor line broken.
Yeah, I mean, looking again just at that last team fight, I don't know, Meliodas just not on his game today.
Nope.
He very, very easily could have gotten out there. And he went in, not only killing himself, but he killed Pallet, because Pallet was attached to him and had nowhere else to go. We need to see the Buffalo clean. Like, the Buffalo could still win this game just based on team comp, but really need to see them clean up.
Yep. But now it's kind of on Null to carry this game. Dicko will not deal that much more damage than he did in the last team fight with his itemization. It's not going full crit. I hate that, but okay, it's his choice. If he carries the game still with this item, fair play to him. I think you need to go 100% crit, but we have to see. Maybe he's lucky on the crits with his ricochet and actually gets them off. But imagine the 25% chance his two first ricochets don't crit, or something like that, or 2 of the 4 ricochet hits don't crit, and you deal significantly less damage than we would have dealt with another crit item there. So Still don't like his build. The Null finally hitting late game stage.
Yeah, I mean, I do question the QSS because, as you very correctly pointed out, what are you cleansing? It doesn't work on
No.
knockouts. Meliodas throws himself in. I don't think you want to be in that cage. Oh, this is so bad for the Buffalo. This is another team fight lost. 2 dead. Are we going to see a Karma lose?
Yeah, we might actually see a Karma lose again. We've only seen her lose on bottom tier teams, I think. FTV prone to get the Karma because the enemy team does not care about FTV's pick, it seems like, and then lose with the Karma anyway. But they got a win on Karma as well, so it's not like she automatically loses on bottom tier teams. She's still a very strong champ. And to be fair to Meliodas, oh wow, big, wow. I'm so unhappy with Big Horus play in this game. He spell shielded the hook and still used QSS. I mean,
Yeah, that was pure panic.
I think he's not looking good on Sivir. Yeah, Null gets caught.
Yeah.
Wow, very well timed.
This is so disappointing for the Buffalo. They had everything they needed to win and just lost.
I can tell you, if this was the team comp in in LCK, the enemy team, I don't know, would probably surrender the game at 20. This is unlosable in LCK play, but for some reason DBL was not able to identify their win condition. Biko, one last comment, I think he kind of threw the game away together with Meliodas with his item choices. The Azir pick already was very disappointing there. Imagine this draft with an Reactant top lane and Karma mid, and you just run at them, grouped as 5 in the mid game. There's nothing the enemy team can do, even with Gragas Yasuo. Yep. Gragas Yasuo is bad from the disengage point. They only want to engage. If you engage on Gragas Yasuo, they can't really do anything. So yeah,
absolutely.
Big blunders from DBL all around all phases of the game, I think. Big win for Loki, which was our underdog coming into the series. Now looking like the better team today.
Yeah, absolutely. They're definitely... they look so much better. I don't think they were a huge underdog, just to, make sure we don't underrate them. They're a very good team, but I think both of us agreed that the Buffalo were looking better.
Yeah, especially after the last series on Thursday, yeah.
Like, Null, just that consistency was gone. Like, that initial catch on him in the top lane was disastrous.
Yep. He died in mid lane as well, because he didn't go any defensive summoner. He went TP and just got bursted down by Gragas Yasuo, which is not surprising. Maybe he could have lived there with a barrier. Maybe you could have lived there with Cleanse Flash, because Cleanse can cleanse the stun from the knockup portion. Then you can not move, but you can flash away. So it's still kind of effective against Gragas Yasuo if you have the flash available. So yeah, big mistakes. I think the only DBL player or two DBL players performed well in this game, which were Rezo and Palette. Palette with the 4th Yuumi game in a row, I should say. So big proponent of the Yuumi, and the composition was insanely strong. Other than the Azir in the mid lane, they just got straight up outplayed in almost all stages of the game. Disappointing showing in game 1.
Yeah, incredibly disappointing. Hopefully they can get it together for game 2. Otherwise, we might be in for a lot less hype of a series than we were expecting.
But that being said, so far at Pressure Point, DBL has shown up. They lost the first game against the other top team, Flash, as well, pretty convincingly, and then stomped them in the next 2 early games. So we might just see the same thing happening again here. For some reason, in VCS, it's always a blue side drafts better, red side wins. So now DBL has the opportunity to draft a bad composition and win on red side, which seems to be the #1 win condition in the last few series we have seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's such a good tradition that we've got going for that.
it's so consistent as well. It's surprising.
It really is. Shockingly consistent. Draft badly, win the game anyway. But
who will be your MVP for this game?
It's a hard
Meliodas?
one to say. Yeah, I mean, depends whose team. Yeah. He definitely contributed very much to the winners. I think Artifact.
Yeah, I think you have to give it to Artifact. Hani got stomped in lane. Hani had good team fights, but he got absolutely annihilated in lane. So not not too great for his team. Artifact won lane and had a very clean Yasuo game on top of that. So yeah, I think Artifact is a very obvious choice. Another MVP for Artifact, tying Sorn in our scores at least at 4 MVPs right now. Front runner for mid lane MVP so far, and playing against the other very strong mid laner in this game, absolutely outperforming Null in game 1.
Yeah, we're big fans of the artifact, unlike everyone else in the card game world. Game did poorly. Game did really poorly.
Yeah, I think we'll just catch our breath and be back in 4 minutes from now to see if DBL can come back in game 2. Welcome back to Game 2, Loki against DBL, clash for the top of the VCS last series of Week 2. And Loki has gotten ahead in the first game. Weird composition drafted by them, Gragas Yasuo once again being successful in 9.12 against the comp that was absolutely designed to deal with Gragas Yasuo on DBL's side. But they could not execute, especially Meliodas, Bikor, and Null looking very weak in Game 1. Meliodas looked for engages for absolutely no reason. We'll have to see what they want to go for. Hey, we actually didn't decide on an MVP.
Wow.
Oh, we
I thought
no, we
we
had
agreed on
Artifact. Yeah,
Artifact.
right. They give it to
Wow.
support player.
Now we look like the stat whores.
Yeah, that's so true. Wow.
Wow. The who ratted us out to the main broadcast that we were talking shit about?
Yeah, probably. Hey, they turned the tables on us. Oh man. Okay, I like the support MVP. I think in this game it was more an artifact, to be fair. But Venus had a great game. Don't get me wrong. A very good engages on Nautilus there. Don't really see the MVP though. Weird choice once again. Fair enough. Support MVP. Second official support MVP, I think, after Slay got one for his troubles on Gum. And
Slay had an
yeah.
cracker of a
I think Slay had a cracker of a week. Week 2 for Slay was so good. 4 Lux picks straight and 4 wins. So good games. It was, yeah. What do you think of Game 2? What do you want to see from Dashing Buffaloes?
I mean, honestly,
Oh,
going
no.
into the draft, God, the mics have not been great. Come on. The headsets they use at most events are they can be very like if anything goes wrong, it's really bad because they're really expensive.
Oh.
Because like we can say they're like the headsets helicopter pilot.
By the way, Palette, your mic issue might just be that you have to actually use a mic.
Put it on.
Yeah, put it on.
Put your headset on. Yeah. At most esports events, because the way they do it is they pipe like a bit of white noise to the headset, so you can't hear the casters.
Ah, yeah.
Because obviously that's really important.
And the crowd as well, right? Most headsets are also soundproof against anything from the outside.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're so expensive, because they're, as I was saying, they're pretty much the same things that helicopter pilots wear. Because
Yeah.
obviously helicopters are very loud.
Yeah,
Really quite-
so for some reason we have a lot of mic issues here, but we should not focus on the issues. We have a very
No.
interesting series on our hands, and DBL need to adjust something.
I mean, I think they just need to adjust their play. I think comp-wise, they won.
Yeah, I still think their combo was better, even though I hated the Azir last pick. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if they get the same opportunity on red side. Usually red side doesn't get things like Karma. That being said, they just lost with Karma, so maybe Loki is actually willing to give up the Karma once again. I think Razor played the game. Great Karma. He was not the reason they lost this game, so...
I think if they let Karma through again, Hani might consider retirement.
Yeah, that's
He
very
didn't
good
have
point.
much fun.
Yeah, even with a ranged matchup, he didn't have much fun. And imagine he's picking something like Aurelia top lane, and then he has to play against Karma. Oh man, that's... You want to not play the first 20 minutes of the game in that case. It's kind of like the times where we had something like Maokai top priority on the enemy team, played something like Ilaoi or some random counter pick out of solo queue just to get a big top lane advantage, even though it was not in meta. Yeah, something like Illusion top when Huni brought it out against Maokai, which is just so tilting for the Maokai player because you know you will win the game. It's you know 80% of the time you win the game, but it will be a horrible experience.
Yep, you just don't have any fun. You play a video game and have absolutely zero fun,
Yeah.
which is a bad time. But yeah, looking at this game again, I do think that the things that DBL have to change. This sounds so stupid, but just don't die like idiots.
Yeah. Sadly enough, that's the best advice we can give them.
That's
Because
why you lost. and maybe build a little bit better Big Coro. But
Absolutely.
I don't think in the end that's why they lost
No,
because
no. I think the most important team fight was the one in the top lane, and there he had this build already. The problem for them kind of was that he didn't get any more damage after that. So he was always in the state where he dealt okay damage. It was enough for a usual ADC, but it was not enough in this composition, because this composition was centered around him. Especially with Azir falling behind, he was not able to contribute too much damage. So it was really on Bikoro, and he refused to build more crit, which, yeah, I talked a lot about in the last game, and I still think it was a big mistake for him. But in the end, probably the biggest underperformer last game was actually Meliodas, with very off engages, costing Palette his life multiple times as well.
yeah, absolutely.
Talking about predictions
He,
for the second game.
I mean, you've got to favour
It's
Loki.
it's so hard to say. I think it's impossible to predict right now because DBL has looked really off in the game one and then fixed their issues for game two and three against Flash as well. We were ready to call a quick 2-0 for Flash on Thursday after the first game after Flash absolutely stomped DBL and then they got stomped 2 games in a row. So I think with DBL it's always very hard to predict because they are such a swingy, such a snowball early game focused team. Right now, I'd favor Loki, but who knows,
Yeah,
right?
I think you have to after game one. Yeah, you're right. DBL's not out of this series by any means. This isn't over. Because as you said, they've had a lot of very bad game ones and they've won anyway. Didn't matter. But despite that, you've I think overall the team play in terms of what they wanted to do on the map actually looked better for DBL today, but the individual
Yeah.
play looked worse. It's much more concerning.
Yeah, that's a very curious thing to say about DBL. Usually, they are kind of the old wildcard teams out of the VCS or even other dominant wildcard regions with good players but bad macro. That's DBL in a nutshell. But today they look better in terms of macro, as you said, but very bad individually, especially jungle, mid, and ADC. Jungle and mid, I think, the biggest offenders today. And that's concerning. We talked about Null being the backbone as we jump into Picket Ban, and he was not a very good backbone in the last game. He has to step up.
Uh, yeah, DBL was rolling off the fountain in wheelchairs if Nor was their spot.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we have to see what adaptations are made here in the draft. Obviously, the sides do switch, so we should see a little bit different. Low key though, banning. I mean, it's hard to see because apparently we're still paused for mic issues. VCS production top notch, but that is Morgana and Lux
Yeah,
banned
another
out. They did
Morgana
ban that.
Lux. Yeah.
They really don't want to play against it. I mean, I don't blame them. I don't want to either.
The real question is, do we see a Sejuani in the second game? Imagine Meliodas playing Sejuani last game. That's another point where we were really skeptical of that draft, even though it still looked like a strong draft overall. They had the opportunity to go Sejuani and a strong top laner, which would have made the draft probably the strongest possible draft on 9.12. And they refused to lock in the Sejuani. So I'm now really curious if Meliodas actually plays Sejuani, or even DNK. He didn't want to play Sejuani either.
Yeah, I mean, either of them could have picked it up. It's a bit baffling. And the mic issues are resolved. That's nice. Coach there
Oh.
hasn't really fixed up. Ooh, DBL banning out the Yasuo. Really don't want to play against it again. But give up Irelia in response.
And I really think this is Irelia for Artifact. I think this is a Nico Irelia setup. Hani's favorite champ seems to be Nico, and he's performing very well in this on this champ, especially in team fights. So I'd like to see Artifact on Irelia and Nico for Hani paired up with something. Oh yeah, there, nicely done.
Gonna have to go for Hani. Yep, I think that's a really good pick away there by the DBL.
Sejuani maybe.
I mean, I want Sejuani to be picked, but I mean, it got all the way through the draft last game,
That's
and
an okay
Zaya
pick as
decided
well.
not through the ban. Yeah, especially because I mean, if you're DBL, Loki didn't pick Sejuani last game, and why would they pick it this game? It's not like she didn't fit last time.
Let me check my notes here on Loki. Loki has not played a single Yumi game. So this is actually a very good opportunity now for Dashing Buffalos to lock in the Desire Rakan lane, because all the counters are not available. Now with Nautilus locked in, this is kind of blocking the Yumi pick. I expect the Rakan to come in from Palette, and Palette can redeem himself. Oh, he had a very good game last game, I think. On the Yumi, he did nothing wrong. It was just this jungler who killed him there, so nothing to redeem himself for the last game. He didn't have the best season so far overall. I think his summer split so far has looked a little bit off.
Yeah, but I mean, well, we will see the Siva. Oh, God, come on. How do you scroll over those two champions, pick Kaiser?
I don't know, because you're Vietnamese and Kaiser is. I have no idea what Kaiser is to Vietnamese people, but it seems to be something very special.
They absolutely love her. I don't understand them. I genuinely don't.
Yeah,
But
celebrity.
it is going to be
So far has not
Kaiser
shown the biggest champion pool. It's only Zaya, Kaiser, and Ezreal, so kind of and Lucian in the last game, obviously, but yeah, it's kind of understandable that he goes back to the comfort champ on Kaiser. Not good in terms of meta. You'd like to see the power picks. And look at this. Sejuani now banned.
Yep. It's all. This is going to be 4 jungler bans, I think.
What is the Karthus ban about? Why ban Karthus if the enemy team bans Sejuani? That does not make any sense. That's so weird.
It really doesn't.
What are you scared of? The very famous Karthus into J4 matchup, which is heavily Karthus focused, obviously. That does not make any sense.
It doesn't. But I mean, this is getting to be a pretty pinched jungle pool. If we see like a Rek'Sai ban,
Loki are hurting themselves so much with these jungle bans. Now J4 is the very obvious pick for Dashing Buffalo. What does Loki answer with?
J4 and Rek'Sai.
Yep,
like Rek'Sai's still open. Rek'Sai's still good. I mean, we've seen a little bit of Nidalee in the VCS.
Yeah, DNK actually played 2 Nidalee games. That's very good.
Yeah, I think we could do that.
Nidalee into J4 though is. Do you want? Wow.
Gragas as well, of course. Had we forget.
Okay, that's surprising. Without a Yasuo available to them, they still go Gragas. Now their composition looks really squishy. This is some burst coming in from Dashing Buffalo.
Yeah, you can say that again. Going to be interesting as well. They're going to have to. I think they have to pick an AD mid laner as well, or your favorite talking point, the damage profile.
Yeah,
real bad.
You know me well.
It's a valid point. Don't get me wrong. It's a valid point, and I love when you talk about it because it's a really good point. But really want an AD mid laner here because otherwise, and there's some Italy.
Yeah, good call from you. Yeah, very nice. DNK played 2 Nidalee games. One was very strong. The other one was kind of whatever. Oh, and they changed to J4, which I think is the better overall champion, more consistent. Nidalee can obviously get accelerated and run away with the game, but I think the win percentages are probably higher if you pick J4 in this composition. And once again, I really like the blue side team composition, while red side is looking a little bit strange.
That's squishy comp.
It's an insanely snowball-focused composition. This is addition by Dashing Buffalo. I think this looks very G2-ish on Dashing Buffalo's side. If they get behind on this composition, there's no coming back. There is absolutely nothing they can do against Death Ball from Loki. Loki has so much initiation, so much tankiness and mid-game power on Renekton, Nautilus support, J4. Man, this is risky. I like this approach from Dashing Buffalo because they kind of punish themselves for sloppy play with this composition. If they are not performing on their best level, they will not win this game. This is a very obvious snowball choice.
It's very correct. We're going to have to see how this goes. I think overall it's super interesting. I don't necessarily like picking a super squishy comp in the VCS where we sometimes see team fights get very sloppy. I feel like you just get punished.
Good point.
Very hard. I mean, in the end, Dashing Buffalo, if any team's going to execute it really well, it's probably the Buffalo. Individually, they have really good players, but It's going to be a bit rough, as you correctly alluded to. If you get behind it all, oh dear.
Yeah, and I think there's a very clear win condition with Buffalo, other than snowballing as well, which is mid-game poke. Group up for poke in the mid lane and push as many towers as possible. Try to poke out everyone before the fight even starts. You have Jace and AP Nico, which are super strong poking gems. You even have a little bit of AP Gragas poke coming in, a long range there as well, good disengage as well. Zaire Khan in this composition does not really fit what they want to do. I like the Zaire Khan. I talked about Rakan being a very good pick in this case because all the counters were banned away. But what do they actually do in this comp? I hope they win lane. If they don't win lane, Zaire Khan is not doing anything for DBL here.
I suppose Zaya's pretty good along with the disengage from Gragas Nico, and also on the flip side of that, if you use the Nico up for engage rather than zoning, Zaya's not bad alongside that, and obviously Rakan is pretty good to follow that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it is an interesting pick. Kind of would have rathered to see like a Sniver to really enable that.
Imagine Asriel in this composition.
Oh yeah, Ezreal would just be dropping howitzers.
Yeah, I think it's once again a little bit more looking at the counters than at an actual comp for DBL. DBL picked away the Nico to deny Hani another Nico game, which is his favorite champ. So that was a counter pick. They picked Zaire Khan because it was the strongest available bot lane to get bot lane priority. Another counter oriented pick, not so much picked for composition. You can build a lot of compositions around Zaire Khan, obviously, but. And then they ran into the damage profile problems, as you alluded to very correctly in the pick and ban phase. So they had to round out their comp with an AD mid laner, and they went with Jace. So
I think that's not a bad choice. I mean, Yasuo was.
There's not a whole lot available.
Yeah, it's like, are you going to play Zed?
Nah, not into Aurelia. You don't want to kill yourself.
That's a real bad time. Real bad time as well for Hani. Picks his Renekton, and he can't approach the wave.
At least he knows how this matchup goes, probably from both sides very well. As this is, as I said before, the favorite champ. Stream
happening for you
problems.
As well?
Yes, this is probably on the official broadcast. Sadly enough.
Yep. That's unfortunate. Because it's actually the gank was coming in there. DNK tries to get onto Null, doesn't in the end. That's not how you use those abilities, DNK.
That was very well done from Null. Very calm, did not flash away, just walked out. You dodged everything there, but now DNK back. He has to flash.
Has to flash.
Did he have to flash there? Actually, not too sure if he had to flash.
I think he got knocked up.
Was very close. Very close. Yeah, he probably had to flash with the after with. Yeah. I think it was the right choice. I think might have been fine without flashing, but then he had to teleport back, which is almost as bad as burning your flash this early on.
DNK so active on the map. He's coming in, and Rizo's going to get cleaned up.
Yep.
Wow, DNK stomping his mark onto this one. They want the clean 2-0.
Yep, very nicely done. Straight return gank to not return gank, straight second gank without even clearing any camps. Still level 2. Buff into double gank, and it turns out well for him. He gets a kill for his top laner, not for himself.
Ooh, Artifact choosing a bad time to engage. Flash belly slam. Null gets a nice little free kill from Meliodas.
Yeah, there's nothing Artifact can do about this. This is just Jarvan being Jarvan. Not Jarvan, I'm sorry. Yeah, Gragas, obviously. Yeah, Gragas has not a whole lot of counterplay. If he plays his engage correctly, you can't do a whole lot. So, nicely done. Get the kill back. He had to invest his flash, though, so now flash advantage in terms of jungle matchup for DNK.
Yep. Still, good use of your flash. You're not too sad about committing it to a flash body slam kill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially because it gets that Jace a little bit accelerated. Obviously not one kill, not the end of the world by any means for the mid lane, but any acceleration you can get onto Jace, who's meant to be a lane bully, absolutely valuable. And I think we will see most of Meliodas' focus be around that. I think Jace is the best lane to sort of babysit here, especially now that he has a lead.
He seems to
I think it's
struggle a
pretty
lot in the early game. Look at his very defensive approach to the lane. I think he was scared of DNK there as well, because he burned his flash up early on. Razor is still
Riser,
sitting on his flash. Ooh, this is. Oh, he had to flash
Riser,
there. He
knock,
had to flash
knock.
there. Oh,
Yep,
nicey.
goodbye.
Whoa!
Oh, DNK showing off.
Oh, the highlight plays coming out of DNK this time. He does not
That
want to
was
fall behind in terms of
nice.
MVP points.
No,
Wow.
he is wanting to stamp his mark onto this game. That was sick.
That was pretty hard to do as well. That was not an easy flash.
No, that's a hard ability to use with your flat. Oh, Paulette, you're in so much trouble. The Crocs here. Oh no, Big Koro's gonna potentially go down as well. The stun lands so much damage. Can they get through the minions? No, in the end
Oh
they
wow,
can't.
celebrity. He has to be very careful now. As we
Ooh, is
see
that happening
some,
for you?
yeah, it's on the official
Yeah.
broadcast. Mm, I'm very sorry for the lags there. We can't really do a whole lot about them. They are happening in on the official broadcast, so bear with us here, please. Sorry.
If it's happening to both of us, it's unfortunately the studio's fault. There's not a huge amount we can do about it, but hopefully it clears up. They are normally pretty good with that.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
not the observer's job, so they're doing a fine job there. Some shade at the observers, because the observers have been
Say that again.
festival.
Oh, Rizo, you are having a bad day.
Oh man.
Rizo, get some vision.
The pink here has not helped. The hair has not helped him at all today.
Yeah, definitely has not gone Super Saiyan God.
Palette.
In the mid lane, Venus here as well. It's a 2v2.
Oh
But
god.
it's worth looking. This is potentially going to be a real big rumble. The Aurelia ult's out. This is really, really bad for Loki. Can he get the kill on Null? That'd make it okay. He doesn't have flash to get out, so he's almost certainly going to die here. Does a lot of damage to
what?
Paulette. Oh my god.
This was so much better from Loki than I expected. It looked like a horrible misjudgment there of
I don't
timing.
feel like that should ever be a 1-for-1.
No. Wow. And super good job by Venus there, because he did not overcommit. He just went away from the play. That was a free double kill, I thought, for DBL there. Even if they get the kill back on the enemy mid laner, I thought it would still be a 2-for-1 trade, as we experience more lags, sadly, and the Razor's in a lot of trouble in the top lane.
Yep. Razor, I wish I could more accurately tell you what abilities have been used, but unfortunately I can't really tell. All I know is that he suddenly doesn't have very much health. But Harney's in a lot of trouble here. He's going to get knocked under the tower, and yeah, he goes down.
That was nicely done. Was just a passenger there. Could not actually do anything about that happening.
Yep, delicious, delicious crocodile.
He had the best seat to watch this play happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one kill back for Drazo is obviously nice, and only one kill has gone over to Hani, so the lane 1v1 is actually not as bad as it looks like from 3 kills happening in the top lane for Loki's side. But a fat early game J4 is not something you want to play against either, so DNK can now absolutely exert his dominance on the map, as he has already done in the early game, now backed up with a lot of damage.
Yep, and oh my god, so much damage there onto Null. Unfortunately, they can't finish it off, but they get his flash, so I don't think they're too unhappy at all. Didn't have Aurelia ult there, unfortunately. I did just want to say, we do see that DNK, to match his early game playstyle, is going warrior, has the electrocute.
Yeah.
He's not gonna. He wants to keep this going.
So now this is mid-game, very mid-game focused. It's already mid-game focused for from the draft. 2 item power spike on Renekton, on Aurelia is already something you want to play around. But now with the AD J4 coming in as well, falling off after mid-game, you really want to get this game over with, probably at 25.
To his opponent. He's 300 gold behind Meliodas because of farm.
Yeah, and Meliodas has gotten 1 kill and 2 assists as well. It's not like Meliodas gets completely outclassed here in this game. He has looked so much better than the last game. Great gank on the top lane has enabled Razor to actually play the game. But look at this.
Yeah.
Another play coming in top. Ooh, Hani with a big mistake.
Yep, Hardy, you're in. Oh, that's an even bigger mistake there from Ryzer.
I did not want to touch on that.
Had
But...
the kill. Oh no, it's a bit of Dumb and Dumber up in the top lane as Harney should have been dead and isn't. And that's really bad. It should be the Rift Herald picked up pretty much because of that.
Meliodas is still here.
Whoa.
What? Another
Harney just dies solo.
Another solo kill for Razor. I think Razor has by far the most solo kills in this league. A little bit inflated, as we always talk about.
Are we counting Nevens in that stat?
I'm not sure. I think even without Neven, if you average this out on his games, if you just say he gets 1 solo kill per game and kind of even those out to the Neven games, because those were more than 1 solo kill per game, that's for sure. He still has the most solo kills, I think. He's insanely good in lane.
He is very good. But that is actually now the Rift Herald being picked up for the Buffalo instead because of Hardy dying. I really want to see what happens here. Yeah, he just sticks around on 2 low health. He thought he'd gone back. Nope. Used his flash too.
Yep. Flash W proc. Easy kill. And that's just very unnecessary from Hani. Why are you sticking around there? It's so risky. You have no vision on Meliodas. Even if Meliodas comes in there, you're absolutely dead. Now he even gets solo killed by Razor. Giving Razor a very good way back into the game. Look at his gold. Look at his creeps. He's now actually ahead. Another gank on Nor
getting ganked again. He's having a really bad time, but he turns it onto DNK, does a heap of damage, and Pallets here as well. Artifact is going to go down. This is really, really bad.
Is he, though?
Never mind. Artifact gets saved by Venus. He is going to go down.
Yeah, for some reason he went back in.
Yeah, Venus was trying to continue his MP. Oh my god, and down goes DNK as well. Low-key, you just had to disengage. Venus played that so well, bought Artifact his life, but they just go back in.
Null as well did more than he was supposed to do there. He
absolutely
turned around instantly on DNK, and DNK with a very squishy build, what bursted in a matter of seconds down to 200-300 health. So then he couldn't really keep up the dive, and Artifact had to cover for him. Then Palette also arrived, so nicely turned around by DBL. Razor with insane precision there on the on his skill shots as well, picking up his 3rd kill of the game after 0-3 start. Now sitting at 3-3, 300 gold bounty on top of that. So great game now for Razor, and we talked about the game being horrible for him.
Yeah, we really did. He's absolutely come back.
Look at this. It is unanswered damage. Yeah. This was just not very well coordinated between the jungler and mid laner for Loki. Big mistake by Null there to overstay for the kill. No reason to really do this. No, I meant Artifact. Artifact. Null had nothing to do with that.
At that point, once Venus is saved, you just leave.
Look at this. Nicely done. He doesn't even look at the explosion. Cool guy there.
Yep. Puts his sunglasses on and walks away.
I'm impressed with Razor's Nico play. Early game was rough, but now he has turned around this game a lot. And a big advantage now for DBL, over 1k gold. We talked about them having drafted kind of an early game composition that needed to get ahead, or at least be even in the mid game, and they've now accelerated the game to a 1.5k gold lead, so good play for DBL so far.
I mean, I absolutely. Never mind. I'll come back to that. As Rizo, that bounty's being claimed. But, never mind. I thought the tower still had aggro there. Wow, what a dive! We have seen some absolutely fantastic top lane dives in the VCS. As Rizo manages to not die and also get a kill. Angle there wasn't great. Pushed Celebrity into the wall, unfortunately.
The cast did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it pushed him into the wall.
That was so weird. That looked.
Yeah, it's a super weird interaction. But that's first turret picked up there for the Buffalo in the bot lane.
And suddenly we can't even commentate on everything that's happening here. Oh no, DNK, you have to be very careful. Razor,
Yeah,
no mana though.
DNK dies. DNK dies here.
Nope, nope,
Oh, never
he does
mind.
not.
He absolutely does not. He procs Electrocute and gets that 700 gold bounty.
Yeah, Razor overstayed his welcome there. No mana for him. He had absolutely had the damage to kill him there, but no mana meant his demise.
Ooh, Celebrity.
Tried to
Not
stand us
sure
to get
how
out
he
of
got
there.
that deep.
Nicely done, ult. Very good use there
Good
to
flash there
dodge
by
a lot.
Speed.
Once again,
But
North forces a lot of flashes with his Q. Null used his flash as well, so it's now prone to being ganked once again.
yeah, but we've seen how that started to go.
That's very
We've
true.
gone to a game where I think both of us were like, I mean, I know I certainly was saying, this is Loki really arriving on the scene, just wanting to stomp their mark, but it
Yeah, I would
hasn't
tend to agree.
worked.
Yeah, early gamers
It
looked
hasn't.
great. Look at DNK. He was so far ahead. He's still sitting at a 3-1 scoreline, but he's actually not that strong right now. He has a lot of
Not
damage, but
really.
he explodes. If he ever goes for an AD target, he just explodes. We saw Null already turning around the play early on. And DNK would have died there instantly if he didn't invest his flash to get away. DNK in a lot of trouble. He needs to focus on Reizo, because he has a lot of magic resist built up. So Reizo is the safe target for him in the top lane.
Yep.
And look at the gold lead.
But
It's now
still,
sitting at almost 3. No, it's a little bit more than 2k. But 2k at 16 minutes is absolutely fine for DBL. They need to accelerate the game though. And it's probably Reizo they need to play around now. He has a lot of teamfight utility and damage.
yeah, absolutely. And he's he's in
Ooh,
a lot of trouble here. Nautilus ult, Jarvan ult, uses his own ult, buys a lot of time, gets a shield, and he walks away.
Reizo is so good.
And suddenly, Loki might be in a bit of trouble. Pallet's here, but they use the blast cone and get away.
My God, Reizo is solo carrying this game. It's insane.
Yeah, he's just putting them on his back.
By the way,
Uh,
Null solo killed Artifact there, but I hope we get
sorry.
another replay in the bot lane. But yeah, for some reason, Artifact went down and the 1v1 against the Jace. That's not supposed to happen either. So now DBL is running away actually with this game. Another turret secured for them. 3k gold lead, almost 4k now. Reizo, come on. You don't have to. No, Reizo, why?
This is ugh, this is bit hard to watch, but
Yeah.
good on them getting the execute at least.
Yeah, Reizo did absolutely nothing there. At least get one auto attack on him. You're dead. Oh no, it's not actually a solo kill. I'm sorry. I thought it was a solo kill there.
Meliodas was there as well, but still.
That was a lot of damage. That was almost Gragas Yasuo levels of damage. And there's something very sad about these two champions interacting with each other, which is Jace has more HP than Renekton. That's not supposed
Yep.
to be the case.
Yep. That's not how that's meant to go. And that'll be another kill.
Still sitting at 3k gold lead and one dragon secured for DBL. DBL absolutely in the driver's seat, and it looks like they can come back once again after a very bad game 1. So much better in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to
Oh no.
see that DBL bounced back, but Loki really needs to still clean up a little bit. This has been such a sloppy game from both teams.
Absolutely. I think the most appalling thing about Loki's plays is their misjudgment of damage. Actually, I think DNK has overestimated his own burst damage a few times now. Artifact as well.
Sorry.
Even Hani, I think, with a lot of damage miscalculations there. So very off game from Loki now this time. It's actually something we don't see too often in pro games. This heavy misjudgment on burst damage. Usually pro players have played so many games that they can instinctively tell how much damage they are going to do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry. My stream is still just wigging out a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's still the official broadcast. Sadly, we're.
No, this time it was definitely mine.
Oh, okay.
but it might be the official broadcast now.
Yeah. There were still a few issues. I just won't try to ignore them, talk over them. But yeah, it seems to be stabilizing a little bit now. I hope we get to see a little more stutterless gameplay.
Hopefully, that would be nice. We might just need to resync. What are you at?
I'm at. Oh, yeah, there was a play happening, but I'm hitting 20 minutes in.
Yeah, you're ahead of me. That's why.
I'll stop at 20. Yeah, tell me when you're at 20.
Now.
Okay, yeah. Sorry for that. We experience a little bit of internet issues from time to time. Yeah, now we should be back in sync and able to bring you the rest of the game.
Yeah, we should be able to. That should be good. Just trying to re-get my bearings because I did actually, like, my stream decided to drop to 140p and I couldn't see what was going on.
Oh,
So
that's
trying
very
to
sad.
catch up on what happened in the last minute.
And not a whole lot. They killed the dragon.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Okay, so we do need to see the Buffalo still be looking for more points of play.
Yeah, Baron has
But-
just spawned, and there's a mountain drake approaching. Oh, never mind. Hold the thought. Another play is happening in the bot lane.
Yeah, Raizo pushed a little bit too far forward here, but it doesn't matter because his team is just so good at responding to help him. And now Hani and Venus are the ones that are in trouble.
Yep.
This is another 2 kill for the Buffalo.
Oh, actually, 3
Oh,
kills.
make that 3
Yep.
because Artifact having just a cracker of a game and going 1-5.
Are we sure the teams actually swapped sides? Because Artifact is playing like normal the last game.
I think there's a brain machine fault on this
Yeah,
side.
we're still experiencing the blue side brain machine fault. I actually want to look at the win rate for red side. It feels like red side has won almost every game. I mean, that's obviously not true because we had a few 2-0 series. So, but every 2-1 series feels like red side wins all 3 games. We'll have to see if this is the case once again. DNK spotted out by Null. Oh.
Yeah, he's going to go down as well, I think. Oh, no, that was a good smite to slow him down so he couldn't get in Q range. But that's Baron for DBL.
6k gold
Cool.
lead. This looks very similar to the series against Flash, I have to say. It's very weak game 1 and then coming back strong in game 2. To be fair, DBL had a lot of assistance in this game from Loki.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the teams didn't actually switch sides; they just switched account.
Yeah, it's really a little bit of a weird series. Very swingy, it seems like. Once again, we talked about DBL being the swingy team, the snowball-heavy team that some games looks very bad, some games looks like the by far best team in the region. So this is one of the games where they look like the best team in the region, it seems, and Loki can't really do a whole lot now. They have behind Renekton full damage day 4. That's not actually behind, but not strong either. Irelia has been solo killed so many times. She's not doing anything in this game.
Yeah, I mean, also Meliodas picking up the Hex Drinker. Obviously, that's a nod towards Raizo, but he's not dying to Raizo. He's dying to Null.
Yeah,
I don't really
Null
like
has
that
been a
pickup.
really big problem for Loki to deal with. They focus their whole attention as there's a play approaching, so I'll hold that thought.
Really bad for low key. This looks bad at the moment for DBL. It actually might have been Raizo coming in a little bit too late, but he lands that binding. Oh, Paulette uses his entire health bar, manages to flash away. He might not even go down
Nope.
here. No, he does in the end, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 in the long term, I assume. Big Coro won't find anything. Yeah, they did
And in the
clean up.
meantime, Null, once again being completely ignored by Loki, pushed down the top lane out inner turret. So now working on the inhibitor turret in the mid lane. So Null quietly having a very good game on the Jace. Not on camera too often, because yeah, they seem to hate showing Null's outplays there. But this time, he just pushed some minion waves, so that's okay. You don't need to show minion waves going down.
Please don't. In fact, we've had problems where they really wanted to show the waves.
That's very true.
Waves during team fights, so I'm glad they're not doing that.
Another turret goes
Uh,
down. So this game has kind of
yeah,
devolved into a big stomp. We expected a little bit more after the early game, but there's really not a whole lot Loki can do. And this is, if we sound a little bit less excited now, it's the game is just not very even, and we can only look ahead to the next game because we'll probably very probably see another game in this series. Red side back to Loki.
yeah. I mean, that means they win, right? Red side always wins. I mean,
Probably, but
in
it's
all
also the
seriousness,
game
like,
3 buff for DBL, so
yeah, exactly. That's sort of one of the things I wanted to say. It's like it seems like DBL almost has that like really old TSM curse where they'd always lose game one in a series and then reverse sweep.
yeah, I'm very sorry
But it
for
doesn't.
the quality. The quality just dropped for me. It's I'm very sorry, but I have to reload the stream there. Some big internet problems. I'm very sorry. I'm not too sure where they come from. It seems to be on all ends. All the
Oh,
internet is failing
Venus
us.
caught out there trying to clear a ward. He will be melted down. Nothing his team can do to help him out.
I've actually not seen the
Yeah,
play
this
happening
is.
there, but yeah, there it
Oh,
is.
but yeah, this is the beginning of the end here for Loki.
Absolutely.
The dread push is coming in. It won't be game yet. They're not quite strong enough to just walk in, but very much just setting up to take the Nexus.
Oh, Palette! Wow, that was a very aggressive approach there. Rakan's still very squishy, so please don't just die for nothing. I,
You had the fancy footwork. Ooh, Artifact might die for nothing and does.
yeah, he absolutely did.
To be fair to him, he did get Greg assaulted forward.
Yeah, and he's not in a strong position, so
No, I think he's like 1-6 at
this might just
one.
be the game, actually. There's not a whole lot Loki can do to thwart the last push.
No, I
No,
think
no
this might
Baron
be
buff
game.
still, but yeah, they can just.
Yeah,
There's nothing Loki
they
can
have to
do
do
right now.
it. Yeah,
Celebrity.
this is a game. You
They're
have
not
to
even
engage
trying.
now,
Yeah, they're not
Loki.
even
Loki,
trying,
you've got to
please.
go.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
okay, they're trying now, but it's not. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Okay,
see ya.
I
See
mean,
ya,
maybe it would
Loki.
have been
We'll see
better
you
if
in
they
game
did
three.
not try, because that looked that looked like a big hit to the morale there. Oh man. Second game once again goes over to DBL. For some reason, they seem to always come back after bad game once, and now we're looking at a full series. That's good news. The game was a little bit
Yeah,
disappointing though.
I mean, the first 10, 15 minutes were hilarious. I'm sorry, hilarious is the wrong word. It was high octane. It was fun. It was good League of Legends from Loki. It really looked like they were here just to lock in at 2-0 and lock in. I mean, a lot of people calling them the best team in the league. Sure,
I mean,
if
if
they
they
had
go
dropped that
4
2-0,
4-0, they are very clearly the
hard to
best
say
team.
that. Exactly, but they didn't carry it on. They started to make a few silly mistakes that let the Buffalo back into the game, and yeah, it kind of became a little bit of a one-sided stomp where the Buffalo just needed to choke them out.
Yeah, don't get lured into the thought that top lane is not impacting League of Legends right now. Some pro players have told us again and again that top lane just now right now does not matter. Clearly not the case in this series. It seems to be all around about top lane. Reizo absolutely popping off in game 2 after being 0-3. I think I'd like to give the MVP to Reizo, I have to say.
Yeah, he had such a good game, such a good comeback.
I think he has a very low chance of actually getting the official MVP because he hinted a little bit in the early game, but he made everything possible for the DBL to come back. Lost his lane in the early stages of the game heavily to ganks especially, and then came out ahead a few minutes later and turned the game around. Great team fighting as well from another very good team fighting top lane Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. He really showed the power of that pick, which is good. I think we've seen some mixed performances on Teamfight now, but this was definitely a good one.
And game 3 is now even harder to predict than game 2, I think. We already struggled to predict the outcome of game 2, and I don't really think there was anyone who could confidently say they knew how game 2 would go, because that was some weird turn of events. But Yeah, game 3 now. DBL. Usually, you'd give the advantage to the team that won the second game, as we always
And
say.
also, they've been in this situation, I think, twice now.
Yep, against Flash, they also lost the first game very decisively. So
So I think,
probably the
again,
safe bet, right? Better
yeah, they're the
players.
safe bet, but I don't think it's a lock by any means.
No. And if there's once again a good performance out of the jungle from Loki, maybe this time DNK can actually do something with his lead, not go for full
Maybe
MR and throw away everything he had.
that'd be good. Yeah.
I also think the top lane performance was not great this time. Yeah, top laner from Loki did not look too strong in this game after a good Nico performance, where he got to turn around everything.
Yeah,
Nico seems to be one of
absolutely.
the priority picks, and Nico,
I'd like to see it, honestly.
yeah, maybe ban the Nico
Loki.
away. Both teams are good with the Nico, as
Yeah.
it's quite clearly a very strong pick here.
Yeah, but if you're not going to first pick it for Harney, I think you have to ban it. I think Rizo just showed way too good a performance.
Yep. So I think we'll hit a little bit of a pause, resync our streams, and try to get everything working for game 3, so we get an uninterrupted, nice and clean stream for the deciding game of the last series of week 2. See you guys in 4 minutes.
So, G'day everybody, we are back for game 3 here between Low-Key and Dashing Buffalo. Series between the top of the table teams is going the distance. Couldn't complain about that.
No.
As always, I'm Everyday Hero. With me is Yulwei. Rizo picking up MVP. We align
Yay!
with the official broadcast again.
Even though he had 5 deaths, this is some nice work from the official broadcast. Finally, turning away from the pure stat MVP, which we saw for the first week, I think consistently. Not a single MVP did go to the support players. What did he do there?
He was throwing his hand warmers and just dropped it.
Yeah,
Didn't catch it.
yeah, he has to work on his hand warm mechanics there. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
how can Loki come back from this game 2 loss? It's actually, I think, a very hard loss to come back from, because you didn't just get stomped from the very beginning, which is, it's not great to get stomped, but you can kind of, write off the pure stomps. Okay, we did everything wrong. Let's just try to not do everything wrong again. But this time they actually had a very good early game and then threw everything away. So I think that hurts a lot, because this was the opportunity to go 2-0 against Dashing Buffalo, and now it doesn't look too great anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's similar criticism to what we gave to Dashing Buffalo after game 1. You just need to clean the play up. I don't think there was too much of a comp mistake from Loki. I think they played it in the early game exactly how they needed to, but they threw it away.
Yep.
They had silly engages, like just silly movement around the map. I didn't like it at all. But it's game 3, so hopefully both teams can reset. We come in. Yasuo being immediately banned out from Dashing Buffalo.
Yeah,
They
they're
don't
not
want to
ready
deal
for this
with
strategy. It's very clear from the bans they are not ready for Yasuo Gragas, and they don't want to pick the Yasuo themselves, which is, yeah, I think understandable. I don't think it really fits Null's play style to play Yasuo, so they would need to put the Yasuo top or bot lane, and yeah, he's stronger around the mid lane, I think, right now in the meta. Even though, as you said, Gragas Yasuo in itself is still a strong bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, we do also see Xayah being banned out this game. I think that just shows that the Buffalo they respect the power of the pick, but don't want to first pick it.
Yep.
So on blue side, they would have had the opportunity to do that, but choose not to. And Nico being banned out from Loki, that's a direct response to last game.
Yeah.
They just don't want to play against Nico.
We wanted to see the Nico. No, we wanted to see the Nico banned, but now what does Dashing Buffalo want to first pick here? Yeah, that's not
Teemo.
Yeah, that's not Teemo.
That's never getting locked in, but Irelia is open.
Yeah, it's probably the Irelia.
I mean, I'd laugh so hard. Whoa! J4 first pick.
Yeah, that's very different. We're still playing on 9.12, right? This is
I mean, I don't hate the J4 pick, but
there's Sejuani open. Sejuani is the better J4.
Sejuani is just not seeing play this year.
No, yeah. Sejuani is just does not exist here.
I mean, she got banned in second phase last game.
Yeah,
but
for absolutely no reason.
Second phase.
And there's a really big rise of priority on Lucian in the last 2 series we have seen. I don't think Lucian sees too much play all around the world, but some ADCs in the VCS seem to still favor the Lucian, especially the ADC for Flash as well, played a lot of Lucian's games, the substitute ADC. Artemis is his name. Yeah, sorry, I blanked out on the name. But
yep. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting pick. Meliodas, the Nautilus being picked up there as well. That's not too surprising. We've seen that roughly where it's always been picked. Kai'Sa, when super open. I don't even want to comment. It's just the VCS. But one thing we should comment on is that DNK's got his Nidalee.
Yep, once again, nice. Yep. Nice to see him once again on the Nidalee. And will we see the ganking Nidalee, the Sawn style, or will we see DNK's initial Nidalee play, which was the farming Nidalee? So, as 2 different kinds of plays. And there is the Morgana. I was wondering about the Morgana. Yeah, she was banned in the last few games, and now she's picked up. Is this a support Morgana or a mid lane Morgana? Is the real question. And what does Dashing Buffalo think?
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to know at the moment. I think we'll kind of be able to get a bit of a read on it by the bans,
Yeah, that being said, the
but
only player who has played mid lane Morgana so far, I think, is Optimus. So don't really see her go mid lane for Artifact, who's the hard carry for his team.
I also think it would just be a bad pick. It would be a bit of a silly move sending it mid when you could send it bot against a Nautilus.
Yeah, yeah,
Does so well into that matchup. Why would you waste that?
tend to
I
agree.
feel
Yeah.
like that's better.
So now Jace and Renekton banned out, two top lane champions. Jace more flexible than Renekton. Renekton didn't have the greatest of games for Hani there. Good early advantage, but then kind of threw it away. Overzealous dives, especially got Razor back into the game.
Yeah, and also banning out this Zoe, we saw that same ban. Obviously, just not wanting Null to have a comfort pick to pick, potentially have to pick blind. Because I imagine that might mean that they're saving their mid lane pick for the last pick.
Yeah. So this is actually purely focused on mid lane, I think, for Loki, after Null had to pop off performance on the Jace last game. And Aurelia did not get picked in the first phase. We did not touch up on Aurelia not being picked, not prioritized at all.
I
Jungle
mean,
and bot lane for both sides is very unusual. We don't really see overlapping drafts this often.
no, it's very interesting, and
Oh,
Vlad will get his first pick of the series.
oh no, damage profile, damage profile, the buzzword is coming in again.
Why? I mean,
Oh no. This is
yeah,
Camille last pick,
yeah.
by the way. Has Hani played Camille? Other teams would play Camille in this. Yeah, he's had one game of Camille so far. I think this is looking like a Camille draft for Loki.
Ooh, Blanc.
Yeah,
We haven't seen Blanc. This is dangerous
I
because
hate LeBlanc, but I love Akali.
yeah, I mean, this is a super dangerous LeBlanc pick because Morgana counters LeBlanc quite hard.
Yeah, you're banking
She
on the fact that
that lane.
Morgana goes support, and Artifact does not want to play Morgana, but this,
I
and
mean,
he does
I
not.
think that. I mean, I definitely think that Morgana was picked as a support, but I mean, if you were low key, I almost would have pivoted to picking a different support.
Yeah,
Like you could have
I
just
think so too.
picked Brawl, but in the end, they choose not to. And I'm not sure how I feel about this LeBlanc pick. I mean, I'm glad LeBlanc is finally seeing some play in the VCS. There's been some games where she would have been great, but here against the Morgana, it's hard to assassinate
Yeah, it was
people in
so
support.
random. The LeBlanc pick was so random at that point. They want to get the assassin buff from TFT, I guess, with Akali and
Yeah,
LeBlanc. LeBlanc doesn't even exist in TFT, so that does not really work out.
no, not really. I mean, Akali by herself has the ninja buff,
Oh, that's
so
true.
she's
That's
pretty
true.
good on her own.
And Razor is a very good Akali. Razor has played some Akali games. Razor overall, I think, is one of the top performers from the first 2 weeks. We'll talk a little bit about our top two performers in every role after this game ended, and we get to a little bit of a something to talk about the first 2 weeks of play. But yeah, looking at
Yep.
this composition, there's the real big problem on the red side draft once again, which means the red side will obviously win. They drafted a very bad composition, so they will win. This is how we go in the VCS. But look at the top side. It's
Magic damage, magic damage, magic
yeah, what a
damage.
surprise!
You must be having a great time.
What a surprise! It's triple magic damage in the top side of the map. So very easy to itemize against. Looking especially at things like Meliodas J4, who this time the J4 has a real good reason to go for early MR. Imagine the possibilities of dives if you go early MR in this game. There's nothing Vladimir in the early game can do against dives from Razor and Meliodas in this game. It's kind of the same goes if they ever find DNK in the jungle. So yeah, I absolutely hate Loki's draft once again. I don't think any of these
Uh,
champs is a great pickup. Maybe Syndra in
where does
isolation is good, but yeah.
where does their damage come from in team fight? Like early
Hani, I
team fights
guess. Yeah.
before Vlad's a super soldier.
Yeah, this team composition doesn't really do anything great. It's a little bit of late game scaling with the Vladimir, obviously. We have strong early game champions in Nidalee. Lucian Morgana is a good lane as well. Syndra is kind of the bridge to the mid game. She's okay in laning phase against LeBlanc. She's good in the mid game, quite good in the early game as well. Can get abused though. Syndra is one of those very swingy champs who can absolutely dominate lane, but also fall behind 0-3 because she gets repeatedly ganked.
Yep.
Ooh, what's going on there? Oh, they only
This
spot
is it.
Palette. They don't know how many people are here. Nord is not there.
Yeah, but I think they'll find out quite quickly.
Ooh.
But yeah, they see the blue buff, so they know it's being taken. They should be able to pass that over to DNK. He should be able to equalize it. He clears the first buff pretty quickly. Yeah, I think he's just going to go straight over to Meliodas blue.
Very
Vertical jungling.
obvious vertical jungling attempted. The setup is attempted from.
Ooh, never mind. This isn't vertical jungling. Meliodas wants to contest.
Wait, why?
He's going straight there.
Wow, this is a very curious choice. I don't. Okay.
Whoa.
Yes.
Does he backs
Smite
himself
available.
to win it? He has a better top laner. His
No, but
mid
his
laner's
top laner
coming
is still
over
level
first,
1. Yeah, this
and
is.
He lost it.
That was some interesting decision making there. Vertical jungling would have been in the favor of the J4, I think, because you want to be even in CS against Nidalee. Nidalee wants to accelerate ahead, and vertical jungling does not really give her the opportunity to invade constantly. Or she can invade, obviously, the vertical side, but it's not really the enemy side anymore, so it's not really an invade. So, wow, I'm a little bit shocked by the decision from Meliodas there to contest his own blue. I mean, in the end, if it worked out, Nidalee would have been set behind.
But, I mean, unless they killed her, I don't think she was... Obviously, getting 3 buffed is pretty sad, especially as Nidalee, but she wouldn't have been that far behind considering her clear speed.
Yeah.
I don't like the decision.
I think
overall.
they banked on Razor to win the level 2 race, and he did not. So that was a really big problem for Meliodas. They kind of trusted in him to be able to outpush Vladimir and get the first level 2 and lane priority, but he really did not get lane priority at all. He's struggling a little bit, falling behind in CS. No, he's actually not behind in CS. Here comes
the mid lane. The chains are down. Artifact's going to take a lot of damage. Did bring a defensive summon in this game, but not going to do anything.
Just talked about that a minute ago. Syndra, very strong laner, but can get abused by good ganking junglers, and it's very easy setup with the LeBlanc as well. So this is a very good start for DBL, getting their assassin in the mid lane ahead.
Yep. At least Artifact did conserve his flash, so it's not going to be free ganks going forward.
I was scared he would flash there, because there was nothing his flash would have done. So nice decision for him to preserve the flash. Safe for the next gank, you would hope, but actually Flash is not doing too much against this combination. You pretty much have to flash.
You have to flash the chain.
Yeah, you have to chain. And she can follow Flash.
Oh, but it's also like, you can't flash every chains that come out.
Nope.
Because
they need to establish vision control.
Bush, you don't even know. Yeah, exactly. It's very difficult.
This is a hard game to play for Artifact. Now look at oh god. Against the full minion wave he traded there into the Syndra. That's very dangerous. Very confident play from Null.
Koro in a bit of trouble here. Ignites use. Pallet soaks up that Morgana.
Oh no, DNK.
Okay, has to use his flash. I'm not sure if he really needed to use.
Yeah, they tried to bait them in even farther, but Vikuro took too much damage. He did not count for Nidalee's early burst. Interesting setup by Loki. No, not by Loki, by DBL. DBL wanted to go for the very greedy counterplay and try to get more than 1 kill, I think, with J4 coming in. But the attempt does not really work out, and they blow both summoners from Vikuro in the process.
Yeah, I mean, that obviously makes them a target for DNK should he want to come down again. But we have mentioned a few times, it's not really what Nidalee wants to do. Most of the time, ganking isn't necessarily top priority. It's just power farming. And we do see this farm lead that's already been developed by DNK.
Yep.
has several camps over his opposite number, and that's really what we want to see.
So now he would really like to invade the top side now, but it's very risky looking at the state of the solo lanes. And there's a pink ward that could potentially spot him if he does not go through the Rift Herald pit, Baron pit. You could.
Yep.
So this kind of hinges on the path Nidalee takes now the next few minutes, and Meliodas is purely focused on bot side. He could go for an early dragon.
Yep. I mean, I think DNK is pretty free to invade here because Meliodas has been spotted on the bot side. Don't hit that plant, whatever you do.
It's really not a very efficient decision there from Meliodas. He gives up a lot for the bot lane pathing, and he knows that there are no camps available. He's now there for the blue buff spawn, so...
Raizo has Hemo Plague on him. DNK might fancy himself in this one, and I don't blame him for it. Does a lot of damage. Perfect execution is used to try and get away. Yep. Last spear won't land, but that's a lot of damage and a lot of resources. Well, it's just the ult, but still.
Perfectly executed.
Yep.
And first dragon in a trade goes over to DBL, so the bot side focus kind of pays off for for Meliodas. I think he might have taken into account that it was an Infernal Drake. I don't think top bot lane focus was good for Meliodas there to play around bot lane.
Getting up. This is a solo kill attempt from Null. He's committed the ignite. It's not going to be enough though.
Whoa. That was one auto away from killing him. I think he could have gone for flash auto there. Yeah.
Yep. Ooh, Celebrity as well, getting absolutely trucked.
Meliodas has gone full gank mode now. He doesn't know anything about jungle camps, it seems like. Not the greatest timing on his invades either, but yeah, his ganks are working out, so good for him.
Ooh, DK as well, meeting the wrong end of a LeBlanc chain. This is a lot of early aggression, but we did see this last game, but out of the other side. We saw this out of Loki, and it didn't hold true. We're going to see if DBL can keep this pace up and not fall prey to making silly, over-aggressive mistakes.
And this is also what we expected out of the mid lane. Null, this time, being a real big pressure point for DBL. They invested a little bit of resources to get him ahead, but now he's constantly pressuring everyone out of the mid lane. So a lot of free time for Meliodas to do whatever he wants to do. Nidalee is still ahead in farm quite significantly, keeping pace with all her usual farming lanes, which is kind of what you need to do as Nidalee. And the gold lead is still in DBL's favor, so that's a great sign for them. They are already outscale heavily with Nidalee being on the enemy team. There's almost nothing you don't outscale if the Nidalee is on the enemy team, because she's just not doing a whole lot in the later stages of the game. She's not insanely far ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Loki has the scaling hope of Hani. Obviously, like, we know what Vladimir can do in the late game, but it's probably just not going to be enough.
And there's not enough damage in the late game to back him up. There's a very defensive build from Syndra. The Lucian is not ahead. Nidalee is not far enough ahead to really impact the fights in terms of damage. So it's Hani against everyone.
I don't like this Lucian pick for pretty much that exact reason. It's just, there's just no damage.
Yeah, try to play Lucian into that composition. It's think about all the abilities he has to keep in mind. There's Reizo with the assassination attempts, so he needs to keep track of the movement from Reizo. That will cost him 1 or 2 auto attacks already. Then there's Meliodas. He needs to dash away from Meliodas' ult, so that's another 2 auto attacks.
But never mind, it's LeBlanc.
Yep, she just goes over the wall.
Ooh, flash instantly from DNK. I don't know if you needed to. I don't know if you were so scared there. You know LeBlanc can't re-enter.
LeBlanc had flash available, and I don't think they kept track of her Ignite timer. Ignite was almost available as well. Very preemptive flash, you could say, but better safe than sorry in this case. I think it was a warranted flash, to be fair. Maybe not totally needed, but it was okay to flash. That was not a horrible mistake. Hani in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but I mean, that's Vlad versus Akali, right? That's he has to just run up and do what he can. He is level 8, so he's very close to that point where he can almost just infinitely sustain. But Raizo having a good start here, and both junglers are around this mid lane as mid laners attempt to move forward. Artifact gets ignited, but they see the Nidalee and decide to back off. Not a bad call at all. You don't want to be playing around near towers in a Nidalee.
No, DNK needs to stop looking for ganks. There's nothing you can do. You can't gank Akali or LeBlanc if they don't massively outplay themselves. So don't look for ganks in mid and top lane. You could look for a gank bot, but even then, that's very hard to pull off as well against these two champions there in the bot lane. A lot of tankiness out of Palette.
Nidalee also sort of just gets denied by Nordal.
And she has no CC. She can just contribute damage. So the only way they kill someone in the bot lane is if Venus hits a very good binding. Then it's very easy to kill the enemies, to be fair. But yeah, they need to hit binding on the spot where Nidalee is there. Nidalee does not want to invest too much time ganking. She still looks very good in terms of farm. 90 CS secured, 30 CS ahead of her opposing jungler there. A lot of damage for the mid game, but sadly it's all magic damage, and we already see a little bit of anti-magic damage itemization from Null. I'd like to see the same for Razo. I think if he goes for Mercury threats, they're very easy mid game for him.
I completely agree. I mean, the one downside, the one counterpoint to the damage profile problems that Loki has is it's not the easiest team for DBL to build MR. None of them really want to build tanky, especially not early. But with the Negatron cloak being that's not Negatron cloak, sorry, the Null Magic Mantle coming in, that is going to be Merc Trades so much value out of it.
Yeah, that's insanely cost efficient. It's really a great buy there from Raid. So even just the Null Magic Mantle, the Mercury threads are also a super good buy. It's, to be fair, not that much CC in the enemy team, but very important CC. If Razor ever gets caught by binding, he's a sitting duck, and he doesn't want to be a sitting duck in this game, so I like the Mercury threats.
Yeah, and it does look like this could be first tower here. In fact, it absolutely will be. I had my colors mixed up there and thought Kaiser was defending. That's good for DBL as well. They've got just a little bit of a gold lead now. Considering the farm difference in the jungle, that's actually a pretty big deal that they have a gold lead at all.
Yeah, and it's a very slow game compared to the other two games so far. It's not a whole lot is happening in terms of action. A good macro from DBL, and we criticized the macro a lot. Palette
took a few steps too far forward. That's really good by him, making sure it takes ages to kill him so that his ADC absolutely gets away.
Usually I hate those kind of stopwatches, but this time it was actually a good stopwatch. Oh, Hani got ignited. He's probably dead.
Here. Nope, he survives on about 1 HP. Pop your pots, boys. He only survived because he popped that refillable potion.
Very true, very, very true. And probably also because he's running the weird time warp tonic thing, where he instantly gets back a little bit of health once he pops a potion. A lot of pro players actually go time warp tonic.
It's super good because it's so good in skirmishes.
Yeah.
It's just a little mini heal.
Nothing, and you can't really account for it. So it's turning, it's extra information. It's super valuable in pro play because information in pro play is more valuable than in solo queue. It's good in solo queue as well, but it's even better in coordinated play. That's why Korea dominated the vision heavy meta, where they had all the information to work with and made perfect decisions after perfect decisions. So yeah.
Bring back trackers now. I think bring back Korea.
Please never do that.
I agree, but if you want Korea to come back, bring back trackers.
Yeah, absolutely true. So now big play set up. First real skirmish, maybe.
That Fog of War toggle revealed quite a little bit of flank here for DBL, but they actually managed to disengage. DNK is stuck in the back of the Baron pit when doing his best knee without committing.
Oh god. And you never want to do an even impression. Never ever in your life. Yeah, but it's still a one for one kill game, which is Not what we
Ooh,
usually
Big
see.
Kuro, that's the flash. He was tanking tower there.
Oh, Celebrity, you're
Definitely.
low. Celebrity, by the way, you only have 200 health.
Yeah, but there's no turn here. Pallet's just gonna get cleaned up.
Yeah, they just glimpsed at Pallet's player
Ooh,
cam
bot
there.
lane though. Rizo's going in. Hani uses the ult mostly just for healing. Does use the puddle and gets out.
I actually think Hani had an opportunity to kill Ryzo there. Not sure if he had enough damage, but you saw the healing. It was almost 400, and he had his pool still available to dodge at least one ability there, so maybe even a little bit of...
Difficult wildcard pool in the shroud, I should say.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
It's the safer
you
play
never
to go
know.
for the pool there. I think he had a little bit of an opportunity to actually go for a solo kill. Not necessary. You don't need to solo kill the Akali. It will, in the end, not really
Yeah,
do
exactly.
anything for you. Give you a little bit of gold and a little bit of confidence back in the 1v1. But you probably need to invest your flash, and then you can get ganked again. So it's an okay play to not go for that. I would have liked to see a little bit of assertiveness out of Loki, who are behind in this game. But
Yeah, they absolutely are. Ooh, unfortunate there for Norl the chain didn't land. We could have seen a turn here. Ooh, I think Pallet's happy that
yeah,
Q didn't
Pallet is
land.
super happy. Pallet is like, yep,
Pallet is,
calculated.
yeah,
It was a
what's the
tactical
warning?
miss.
Yeah, exactly. I think he would have been in a lot of trouble with DNK though, who still does a lot of damage at this point in the game. Riso, you don't have teams near you. Be careful, buddy.
Yeah, he's still a Kali, but
He is still a Carly, but you don't always want to use your ult to run away.
yeah. I think Ryze is still very happy, farming away in the side lane. Has now itemized
Absolutely, got a big
Mercuries.
lead.
And look at this, triple Mercuries. That's what you're supposed to do. Nicely done, DBL. Good itemization. We even see the best itemization out of Kai'Sa. So this game we have to praise DBL for the best item choices they could make. I think
Yeah,
very good
exactly.
adaptation from Big Kuro. Seeing that the game is very slow, so much slower than all the other games we watched, at least in terms of kills, he goes for the scaling build.
Yeah, exactly, and that's great. DBL setting up to take this inner tower here. There's nothing Hani can do. His team really sort of left him high and dry.
Yeah, and the advantages grow incrementally for DBL. A little bit setback by the one outplay in the top lane, but it's still two dragons, two turrets for them, gold lead, against a not so great team comp on the side of DBL or Loki. So this advantage is actually bigger than it looks like, in my opinion. It's stat-wise, the Infernal Drake gives you about 2k extra gold at this stage, maybe even more, maybe even 3k right now. So the advantage is really sitting at something like 5k for DBL in a game without dragons, which means teamfights are heavily favored for them. That being said, we are still
Yeah,
waiting for item completion on Big Koro's side until they really want to do TFIT. I think they will wait for 2 items, pick up everything they can on the way, and then look for the one deciding team fight. A little bit of TL style coming in my opinion. Very defensive.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, TL especially very focused around punishing mistakes of the other team. But we might see Null being punished, but never mind. DNK really not having the best day with those spears.
I'm
They
not sure
are
he's hit a single one on the champion yet.
no, he is.
In
They
the
are
early game,
failing,
maybe one or two, but yeah, he's not hitting the mark on the spears.
which is a real shame because you really need to.
Yep.
It's really important for the champion, and this is going to be the mid lane outer turret taken
Yeah, he's already
for.
transitioning into support in Italy. Look at his items.
Ooh, engage here from Meliodas. A little bit bold, but that black shield won't stop the cataclysm. And Toro throwing himself forward. Oh, Venus just goes down.
Artifact,
Oh
what
no!
are you doing?
Rizo in the back line though. This is a
This is
little bit of a
horrible.
sloppy team
Loki
fight here,
will
but we're
all
seeing.
die.
Yeah, I think one or two of them
Maybe.
might be able to get
No?
out.
Oh, okay, 3 get
Yeah,
out. I'm
they'll
sorry.
get away.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they should have died, but we just see they don't do damage.
Yeah, and we can now judge DBL on their mid-game execution, because this game is heavily in their favor. It looks bad, but it's even worse. It looks already like it's a bad game looking at the compositions and and gold, but it's even worse. There's dragons coming in on DBL's side. They have mortars, they have better setup to split push as well. So this game is probably at an 80-85% chance now to win for DBL, maybe even higher. I actually think the
Yeah.
advantage is that big right now. Look at that. Palette got stuck on the wall from created from Meliodas. Very unfortunate there. Artifact, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not sure what Artifact is doing in this fight. We just see it doesn't matter how low the health bars got for someone like Meliodas. There's just no damage.
No.
Loki drafted a comp that doesn't hit anyone, and that's a pretty important thing in League of Legends.
Yeah, it doesn't hit
He,
anyone. It doesn't deal damage. If it hits anyone, even of course, this Nidalee does not deal damage. Artifact does a little bit of damage, but not even going for the full damage. Syndra build, not no penetration build for him. Hani still needs 2 completed items until he will really do anything. And Celebrity sits there and has to deal with Akali jumping on top of him. Oh, I love this Akali build. Wow, this is so great.
Big Coro going so aggro there. He might actually get punished in the end. He's kind of that's a
That was
stopwatch.
so unnecessary. That was so insanely unnecessary. Okay.
That was so aggro. He nearly got the kill though.
I mean, even if you got the kill, stopwatch and flash invested for a kill on someone who's already struggling, that's a pure solo queue play. That's not pro.
Have a look at the bot lane
Yep.
though, right?
Exactly. Oh man, this game is depressing to watch.
This is a very interesting execution, but in the end, it is the Buffalo coming out on top. Oh, Pallet, oof, he's not having a good game.
Well, once again, 0-3. His team is running away with the game, but he's just inting away everything he can. Bot lane not looking too hot. Once again, I'm really curious what happened to DBL's bot lane. They looked so great at MSI, actually the strongest point, in my opinion, together with Null maybe, and some very good Meliodas games. But their star player Zeros, or touted as star player that time, was not actually performing too well in the MSI. Their bot lane stepped up huge. And this split so far, I think they looked a little bit off. Another play set up by Razo.
They are going to play up here. Rizo's here. A lot of damage onto Celebrity, but he has to get out.
What,
Razo?
Holy!
Kill there, never mind. Rizo, he's under tower, uses that stopwatch to reset the aggro. Meliodas throws himself forward, but doesn't have the Cataclysm to finish anyone off.
Yeah, look at Rizo once again running away with the game. I absolutely love his itemization, going Hex Drink a second, taking away every chance to kill him in the fights. Celebrity cannot deal with him alone, and he's dominating the fights very hard. No, wow, aggressive.
Cinder ult used, clean him up. Does sort of dissuade the Baron.
Yeah, they don't have any damage to do the Baron. They only have Kai'Sa, and Kai'Sa is not even that strong yet. So,
and Kai'Sa was back as well. No TP to get there, so good call to get out. It will be a reset for both teams.
And they don't need the Baron right now. It's not like they are in a hurry to get the Baron. There's still 20 minutes of time until Loki's scaling problems and damage profile problems will be evened out with a little bit of penetration coming in. So DBL has a lot of time to execute.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Curious what we see Hani build here.
Very true. He's going for Deathfire Grasp.
Yeah. Back to FG.
No, please don't. Oh god, imagine today's Akali
oh
with
my
Deathfire
god,
Grasp.
Rizo!
Oh, nice dodge. Wow, Rizo's mechanics are so great.
Over half the rift. Venus getting chunked down to about 100 health. Oh no, this is a collapse here for DBL. A lot of damage done by Artifact. Actually dissuades the play. Really well done by him.
Did you see the casual sidestep from Razo? He was in a lot of trouble there, just casually stepping to the side when the Nidalee spear flew right at him. So, wow, Razo is on top of his game here. Game 3, I should say, on the Akali. One of the best Akali players, I think, that has been seen in the VCS in this season at least. And I'm so hyped for the eventual rematch against, or the eventual match against Zeros once he comes back in, because I think Razo has been a great replacement for Zeros, and there should be a lot of pride involved with the prior star player from DBL. If Razo comes in and murders Zeros like he did with everyone else on laning phase, Ooh, that
Ooh,
would be a story
Artifact
line.
getting absolutely chunked. Big Koro does so much damage. Has that completed Muramasa and the
Ooh!
rage blade.
Slick play from Null. Nice.
Ooh, I missed it.
He's
He
still,
stole the red.
yeah, stole the red and got out of there with his W again. Looked very cool.
Goes for a play there on Venus. I like this is what you need to do on the block. Just be constantly fishing for damage.
Hani, excuse me?
He pushed very far forward here and dies without even using his pool. What was he doing there? Artifact goes golden, as does Meliodas.
He was supposed to be the
Leading of
chosen
stock.
one to carry his team, but yeah, he's just inting away the game.
Yeah. He was meant to bring balance to the Rift.
Yeah, I mean, he brings balance to this Vladimir statistics. That's nice.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I mean, Riot needs to bring balance to Vladimir.
No, they just need to implement some kind of restriction on Vladimir. You can only pick Vladimir if you have a full AP topside. Then he's very balanced. In fact, I would guess he's very underpowered in that case. Surprise, surprise,
I would
picking
probably,
triple AP in the top side is not great.
shockingly enough, when you are all dealing magic damage, your opponents just build Merc treads.
I think, in fact, there's only one jungler that could have been worse in this situation, which is Karthus. But yeah.
Karthus would have been absolutely atrocious. But
Yeah,
this
but
Nidalee has looked really bad. Like he power farmed early, which is what you want to do as Nidalee. And that was fine, but he hasn't been landing spears. He's just
no,
this
he's just playing
shows
PvE.
everything.
He's never touching any enemy champ. So I think he's still stuck on the first 3 rounds of teamfight tactics, continuously trying to kill the minions there. And Nidalee, very good early game champ.
He's hoping to get more items. Resetting until he gets good item drops.
Yep, and so far have not been great. His items drops have been a little bit iffy. Look at his build there.
No.
What the? Yeah, Null just jumped over the
What
wall
was
for
that?
absolutely no reason. That looked like Caps yesterday. Interesting. Probably watched a little bit of G2 for inspiration and executed the Caps perfectly, or I should say the Craps, which you should
Yeah,
not.
exactly. Oh, Celebrity. He's in a lot of trouble here. There's a lot of damage, but Hani comes. So
Razor's
back on.
Razor's styling on this game. Oh,
yeah.
nicely done.
I don't know if that's very stylish, as he does get culled.
Oh, DBL.
That was two very unnecessary deaths.
Yeah, DBL is just trying to extend the game so we have more time to talk. Because sadly, the game is not very interesting at the moment. Loki's not doing a whole lot.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should probably try to think about ways Loki can actually win this game. It's very hard. It's a good exercise.
I think the most obvious one is just they need Vladimir. Like Vladimir just needs to hard carry, which is possible. Don't get me wrong. Like we could see situations where Hani gets a good flank, hits a big ult, does just stupid amounts of damage. But outside of that, the comp just doesn't do enough.
Yeah, I'm really struggling to see a way composition wise. I mean, there's always the enemy team loses their brain machine again. Happened a few times with DBL. So, I mean, if DBL continuously ints away a lot of death, I don't ever see a case where 5v5 would go in Loki's favor. Look at the items from Big Koro. He's now sitting on a 400 magic damage shield, so even Vladimir will not touch him really, even in the later stages of the game.
Oh, come on. Cut away from him.
Oh, no, DMK, what?
Cut away. What's he doing?
Yeah, he wants to go for the Baron steal. So now DMK's time to redeem himself for the game. Will he actually interact with someone else that's not minions? I mean, I guess the Baron still counts as a minion, so would fit into his playstyle so far.
Noel getting caught out here again. Has to burn his flash there. They do push him back. Noel, you really need a bit more vision control.
I don't know.
He's getting caught in that
I think DBL's players are just getting a little bit lazy because the game is very boring to play. There's not a whole lot they need to do right now, and they're getting a little bit hypey there. Want to go for plays, want to end the game maybe 5 minutes earlier than they would do if they just play out the game cleanly. It's only 12 kill game at 30 minutes. That's very, very far under our average in the VCS here. So kind of
Yeah, that's
understandable. DBL is under no threat of losing the game or throwing away the game. So I guess it's fair
and I mean
that they're looking for a
everything
few
they do up
outplays.
here is buying time for Ryzer.
Yeah.
He doesn't really. He like Ryzer's not really scared of anyone in the 1v1, except for Hani on the tower.
I would actually like to see him go for a full split push build. Maybe something like a Lichbane or even the Nashor's Tooth. I know that was a little bit of a weird build for the old Akali. I'm not sure if she still sits on one of the highest attack speed stats. Akali actually had the highest attack speed base, so with just one attack speed item, you were at something like 1.6 attack speed. So some players actually adapted and went for Nashor's Tooth on Akali. Not sure if that's still something that you can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's not a terrible decision. I think we might see him not do that though, just
Yeah.
because of VCS syndrome, where it's all about the 5v5. But I do think that would have been a good decision because
And
I mean, he's probably spent 80% of the game just.
yeah,
And will
Lichbane
continue.
is the more obvious choice. Lichbane is a very good buy here as well. Still kind of good in team fights. Not maybe not as good as the usual Akali items. Lichbane is absolutely an okay item choice on Akali. Not seen too often, but yeah, you're focused about around split pushing and bursting. So Lichbane is not a bad item choice, and it's absolutely fine to play around 5v5 in this game. 5v5 advantage is heavily in favor of DBL.
Absolutely. I
Nothing
do
has
think they
happened for
will.
the last 5 minutes though, so every minute that
Yeah,
goes. I mean, in the ultra late game, everything can happen, right? Once everyone hits 6 items, even the resistances don't matter too much. So I guess the win condition for Loki right now is wait for the miracle 50-minute team fight and win one team fight and end the game off of that. So not the
Venus
greatest
takes a
thing.
lot of damage. This is going to be
Oh,
the engage. The TP from Harney's coming in. The health bars are currently not looking great on the side of DBL, but
nope.
Venus as well is
They
incredibly low.
look at their drakes though.
Yeah. Oh, that I don't even know what finished it.
Ignite. He ignited
Electrically?
him there. No, he ignited him so that the
Yeah.
shield could not hold off the damage.
Yep, absolutely. And that's now 4v5,
Yeah,
and
and
you're going to be looking for
look at
barracks that are
Meliodas' health bar. This is
that do anything. That Syndra, that was one of the weakest Syndra ults I've ever seen.
yeah, a level 3 Syndra ult nonetheless.
Nothing.
That's that's usually one shot potential, but Ryzer didn't even bother investing any resources to get away. Sits on his ult and flash. Now Syndra without her ult. Wow, this is
Yeah,
so horrible
it's
to
a
look
big
at.
game. Good
My
hook
God.
here. Good hook. Allet doing well, starting it up. DNK will get cleaned up. Harney, he's in the back line doing his best to be a late game Vlad,
Dealing
but it's
absolutely
just too
no
early.
damage.
Doesn't have the nights. Yeah, exactly. Ryzer does go down there, and actually, Harney living much longer than he probably
Yeah,
should. The
he
health
used
bars are a
absolutely
bit
everything
low.
there to live, but nice job from Loki.
Yeah.
Delay the game even longer. I think DBL's best win condition right now is the Elder Dragon buff, spawning in 2 minutes roughly. So yeah, five infernal, no, not infernal, 5 elemental rakes picked up for them. Luckily, they can play around
I'm inferred.
objectives. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Whoa. I want to see what happens to Ryzo here. I didn't quite catch how deep he went in the fight, but he must have just been on
Yeah,
another planet.
Ryzer with some rookie mistakes. I think he's still a little bit rough around the edges when it comes to team fighting there. A little bit too hyphy most of the time. Oh, Baron attempted in live.
Yep. Again, they do
Look at
have the problem. They don't
Meliodas.
do a
Meliodas is
huge amount of
insanely
damage.
low.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is a damaged Jarvan. Oh, Venus though, just a little bit too far forward, gets absolutely detonated. Kaiser, that Vlad ult, that makes me sad. Harney does get
That was
away
a
though.
panic ult.
Vlad
That
is
was a
so
pure panic
bloody
ult.
slippery. The Cataclysm comes out, but he does just instantly die. Come on, we need to see some damage, DBL. There it is. Celebrity goes down to about 100 health. We'll get cleaned up there by Null. DNK, you are the last man standing. Will you be a man or will you run away like the
Nope.
cat that you are? And it will be the runaway option.
Even in the team
Probably
fights,
smart
he will not go down. That's so funny. DNK has not impacted the game at all.
DNK has done that.
He could have gone
And this is
AFK in the start of the game, and the game would have looked similar probably, because this literally has not done anything.
no.
That was very close.
Venus using his ult there to try
What?
and buy time.
Wait, what? DNK just
confused.
killed Null.
Oh, that shouldn't happen.
No, but it will not matter in the end.
It's not going to matter. Oh, he kills Pallet too. Trying to do his absolute best there, but DBL.
Oh, nicely done. Not sure how DNK killed Null there. Maybe Null overextended into a turret or something. Yeah, and it does not really matter. I think the iconic image of this third game was probably Nexus falling while DNK was golden right next to the Nexus. That sums up his participation in this game, I think.
Yep.
Man, what a disappointing game 3. Well played though from the DBL. I think they showed a lot of growth today.
Yeah, I completely agree. They didn't. The main criticism we had for DBL going into this week was that they looked lost in mid game. They didn't look lost today. They looked like they had a plan. Sometimes there were execution mistakes, especially in game 1. It was massive execution. But they didn't look lost, and that's good.
Yeah, and what's going on with the game 1s for DBL? I'm not too sure. DBL seems to be completely lost in game 1. Got annihilated by both Flash and Loki now in game 1. As one was a very macro-oriented win from Flash, and game 1 today was a very micro-mistake-focused game from DBL. And for some reason, they just can brush it off in game 2 and 3 and play like the best team in the league. And now they secured their first spot here. Not too clean overall in terms of game score, but they're still sitting at 4-0 in series score and continuing their dominance in the VCS.
Absolutely. Definitely looking like the best team in the league now. Need to do something about their shaky game 1s. I don't know, maybe they just need to play a couple warm-up games before they go on stage. They might be coming in cold or something, but overall, they take the win, take sole ownership of #1 spot.
Yeah, and whom are we giving the MVP to in this second game? Not a whole lot happened. I think there was not one player who stood out.
I mean, Null played well.
Null, yeah. Null had some weird... I think Razor actually had some really cool plays, but overextended in the end there.
Yeah, I think he made a few too many mistakes in the end. Pallet had a good game. I think his engagements were pretty good on Null.
Big Coral?
Big Coral played
well as
well.
He had that in play in the top lane. I don't want to give him MVP. That's so hard to decide.
I think I'm leaning towards Null, but it's pretty close. It was a pretty uneventful game.
Everyone had their int moments, I think. Maybe Palette, because he actually played a clean game. He did not get caught.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for me it's between Null, Razor, and Palette. You can choose one of the three, I think. I don't. It doesn't really.
Okay, we'll go Palette. Let's give support some love.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and it's his first MVP for our. I think he has not gotten MVP in the official broadcast either. So yeah, let's give him some love. He has shored up a lot of his mistakes from week 1.
Yep.
Who won?
Absolutely.
Yeah, DBL just won 2-1. First game was a stomp in favor of Loki, and then DBL stomped game 2, and game 3 was a very slow, drawn-out game where Loki picked the worst composition possible with triple magic threats on the top side and did absolutely nothing and slowly bled out.
Yep, that's basically exactly what happened.
If you want to rewatch the series, don't watch game 3. It's not worth it. Nothing happened. It was decided in draft, and it looked like a game that was decided in draft. Nothing happened. Composition was just stronger on the other side, and the stronger composition eventually won. Not a whole lot to look at. But good to see DBL actually being able to play out their win condition.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the biggest thing to look at here as we're going into the Rift Rivals break, I should say. DBL looking a lot better, looking more prepared for Rift Rivals than they were based on the last few games before tonight.
Yeah, and before we sign off, we want to give you guys a little bit of the summary of the first 2 weeks in terms of who were our standout players, what was the most egregious play, which I think is very easy to decide, and maybe what was the best play that comes to mind. Probably a little bit of recency bias involved there, because we are still in week 2, so week 1 is a little bit blurry in memory, but yeah, let's go to the top lane. What are our top lane players? I have written down Razor and Hero. Do we still stand
Yep,
by that?
I stand by that. Yeah, Rizo, especially for a rookie. Also, he hasn't been playing top lane for that long and has looked so good.
Yeah,
I think very clearly got to be considered to be at least the second best, if not the best top
yeah. I
laner
think he
so
has
far.
looked like the best top laner by quite a big margin, in my opinion. No one really comes close to his laning prowess. I think he has outlaned every opponent so far.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, and then Hero, an interesting choice, I think, on more of the mid of the table team. Top lane overall is not my. Oh, Null gets the MVP, so they agree with your points earlier. Fair enough.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I think it could have gone up.
Hero, the new top laner for QTV, came in after Nevin had his horrible game, which we will touch upon a little bit later. Yeah, and so far has performed great. I think he has been the outstanding player together with his other solo laner Genza or Genya. Some days he feels like a Genya, sometimes he wants to be called Genza. I'm not too sure what actually is the case with him, but yeah. QTV, as you can see, 2-2 in terms of series score, sitting at shared fifth together with Gam, and I think QTV's top laner has looked great.
Yeah, I completely agree. Uh, he's put on quite a few very good shows for us. So yeah, I agree with those assessments.
Transitioning to jungle, we are in a region of junglers, so there are a lot of great junglers. This can change over the course of the split. But what do you think are the two outstanding junglers after 2 weeks of play?
I mean, Thorn is one.
Sorn definitely
Uh,
is one, yeah. Quite clearly
yep.
the best player for EVOS.
Yeah, and then I mean, again, this is a region of junglers, so it's very hard to narrow it down to. Yijin, you have to consider. Um,
Yeah, it's between Yijin and Meliodas for me for the second
yeah,
spot. I'm not
yeah.
too
I was meant. Yeah.
Meliodas didn't have the best series today, so I'm leaning towards Yijin, even though we gave 3 MVPs to Meliodas and only 2 to Yijin, but I think the overall consistency is a little bit more in favor of Yijin.
I agree.
So we're giving it over to Son and Yijin with a very good, big nod over to Meliodas as well. Of course,
Yeah, honorable mention
yeah.
to Million, that's for sure.
In terms of mid lane, I think we just saw the two best mid laners play against each other in this series, but
I think so.
they had a little bit of
Artifact,
an off game.
Artifact like really did show that he definitely has some high highs, but he has some very low lows.
Yeah, but when
Um,
he carries, and he has gotten
yeah.
4 MVPs from us, so I don't think we can look past Artifact.
Yep, I agree.
And
I
Null,
think yeah, Null's been great.
yeah, Null is the consistent performer for DBL, the backbone, as we talked about in the cast earlier today. A little bit of a problem today in game 1, but I think it was the only bad game of 2 weeks of play, so I think we can forgive him one bad game. I think he's still probably the overall best mid laner in terms of consistency. Maybe not in terms of carry threat, but yeah, he's a very good player.
Yeah, I agree.
Honorable
100%.
mention, I would say, goes over to Dia1, especially for for yesterday's performance.
Yeah, he had a really good Camille performance. Um, he looked really good. He's definitely in the conversation for top tier mid laners, but I just don't think he quite gets over the line yet. Um, but he's close, no question.
And now it gets really hard. I have to say, as a support main, I'm very critical of ADC players, and so far the ADC players this season, this spring, this split, I should say, or summer split, have not really impressed me in the VCS. There's only one player I think you have generally been a little impressed by, and you were subbed out in the second series this week. What do you think? Which ADC players come to mind?
I mean, I think Slater looks
Yeah,
good,
I think so too.
which
Slater
I
is,
think is who you were alluding to.
yeah.
I mean, Big Coro didn't look bad in that series. He had a few moments where a few brain snaps, to say the least. But yeah, it hasn't been the best ADC split so far.
No, I
I
think
mean,
ADCs have been really quiet.
you want to look at MVP stats from the official broadcast, we have to give a nod to Celebrity. Yes.
Yeah, but we have not been impressed with Celebrity. He has
No.
not played great today either, so I really don't understand the hype for Celebrity from the official broadcast. He had some good games against bottom teams where he got a lot of kills and assists and didn't die, which is why he got
Yeah.
3 MVPs, but he didn't win the game for his team. His auto attack spacing in teamfights does not look great, especially not on Zarya, which was his most played champ. So I really don't
Yeah.
want to give Celebrity the second spot after Slater. I think I am kind of leaning towards Jisoo,
Yeah.
the ADC
Yeah.
for QTV. I'm not. Big Koro or Jisoo, I think, are the obvious candidates.
I think maybe we go with Big Coro because their teams had a little bit more success.
Yeah, but he has
Obviously, you
not
don't
been
want to.
great in week 1. Yeah, ADC is hard for me. Yeah, I'll give you the right to
I
decide, I
think
guess.
I think I'll go with Big Coro,
Okay.
but
Well,
it's so difficult.
yeah. There's a
It-
pretty big gap between Slater and everyone else in this region
yeah,
after 2 weeks of play. Can change, obviously. Bikuro can come back to his MSI form and contest for best ADC in the region, but so far I think it has been very obviously Slater.
yeah,
And now we
yeah.
go
That's
to
right.
support, and support is an interesting discussion. Of course, I think there's someone, especially in this week, who has performed super great, but he's only played 1 champ, so can we give him the top 2 position?
Um, I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about Slay.
Yeah, yeah.
Lux. I mean, yeah, he's only played Lux, but
His Lux was super
that's
great.
fine.
He's by far the
But
best Lux in the VCS.
yeah, and like the other thing is, it's like, yeah, he's only played Lux.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
we can
he's only
only
played
judge him on the
best
games he
support
has
in the
played,
game.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm almost happier that he's only played Lux because that means he's picking Lux.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
No one else does.
Yeah, and then the second sport is very hard. I actually think support is. We have quite a few very good supports here. There are some playmaking supports on the bottom tier teams as well. People like B and Biop
Yeah,
have looked great. We have given them MVPs for single games. I don't think they have been consistent enough, especially in the case of Biop. He has fed sometimes as well.
yeah,
Palette.
yeah. I mean, I think it's hard to look past. You have to give a nod at least to Pallet because he has had some. He's had some very interesting moments. I think we can all think of one that we might talk about in a little bit, but he
Oh
has also
man.
had some.
Yeah, I think his week 1 was very weak though. So I'm not purely on based on week 2 play. I would give it over to Palette, but it's very hard to decide for me.
It is.
Who's the support for Flash? I can't remember. He's slipping my mind. I think it's CBL. CBL is very quiet and doesn't
Yeah,
really
yeah. He
do
was.
a lot of mistakes. So I think CBL
Yeah,
comes to mind as well.
yeah.
They
I
it's
sort
the
of
yeah it's,
slipped from my mind, but yeah, I think he's a good candidate.
yeah they have the best bot lane and CBL. I mean he plays alongside Slater, so Slater gets all the MVPs, right? But CBL is
Yeah,
there and does his job. So I want to give it over to CBL. He played with 2 different ADCs as well, because Slater was subbed out.
yeah, yeah. I think CBL is a good pick.
So our top two is top lane Reizo and Hero, mid jungle Meliodas and Zorn with a big nod over to Legion as well. No, actually we went with Zorn and Legion, right? Not to Meliodas. Yeah, sorry. And then Artifact and Null for mid lane, Slater and Bikoro ADC, and Slay and CBL outstanding supports for the first 2 weeks of play.
Yeah, I think overall I agree with all those picks. Obviously, I was half of making them. I hope I'd agree. But I think it's important to know that for most of those, there are other people in the conversation. It's not super clear. Which I think is good.
I think there are two players who stand out far better than the rest in their position, or maybe three. I think Reizo is quite a bit better than every other top laner we have seen. I think Slater is definitely a lot better than every other ADC in the league. And I kind of think, based on the week 2 play, Slay has been the best support by quite a big margin. Week 1 has not looked too great, though, so maybe not quite fair for 2 weeks of play. But if he plays like he did this week, Slay looks like the best support in the league.
Yeah, I think I agree. He's looked so good on his Lux.
Oh, did you get to watch the second series yesterday? He had one team fight where he absolutely dominated the team fight, stopping everything from Aatrox. It was a great watch. I think, yeah, he played once again 2 games of Lux, 2 very good performances on her.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good to see because Lux is super strong, and if you can play her,
absolutely,
you look good.
So the last few things we want to do before we close out the stream for 2 weeks, sadly, because we have Rift Rivals sitting. Best play so far? Or let's start with the worst play. There are quite a few things that come to mind, I think. What are your favorites?
I mean, there's a few to highlight. I mean, tonight we got another. Well, no, sorry. What am I talking about? That's not. I think Big Coro's int was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Measures up to Pallet walking into lane, just literally running it down.
The best part about the play is he's taunting the enemies. He's dancing around like he's on top of the world, and he just gets solo killed by Braum.
It's just that swag Rakan walk, cock of the walk, and just get put in the dirt. That's one of the good ones.
Yeah, that's top 2. That's top 2 for sure.
Yep. The Rise ult to victory.
Oh no! That's going to get the team worst team play of the 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, we're beating around the obvious worst play. Even on 100 health in the Baron pit, going into a Quinn ult, and then coming out of Quinn ult, aggroing Baron, flashing over the Baron wall and dying.
Yeah, quite possibly the worst pro play I've ever seen, and it's very hard to beat this play, I think. It's
Yeah, that's worse than like really infamous bad plays as well. Like Reggie's famous red card.
Yeah.
That's better than an even play.
That plays on the level of Renegades against Dignitas, which is probably one of the worst games that has ever been played on pro level.
Yeah, straight up. That was one of the dark days for professional League of Legends.
Oh man!
But that even play, I've gone back to the highlight and just watched it a few times because, my god,
it's.
So funny.
If you have a shitty day, just look at the play from Neven and you will instantly feel better because that's a pro player playing his second game ever in the VCS and probably never ever getting to play another game because of this play.
His career.
Sadly for him, his replacement, Hero, has looked like one of the best top laners, as we said earlier. So Neven is not seeing any play in the next weeks, I can assure you. Maybe he does something over Rift Rivals to get back. Maybe he perfects his Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see more Quinn. Pull it out. It'd be great.
For the highlight plays, either way. I mean, they can go either way very quickly, right? So the last thing we need to talk about is the best play. I think,
This is harder because there's actually been some pretty hype plays.
yeah, I think my candidates from week one, a whole game doesn't really count as a player, but I think the cleanest game so far of the whole season was the absolutely perfect game from Loki against Cerberus, if I remember correctly. That was some real good play out of the VCS. I think that probably the best macro we have seen, together with some of the early Flash games. So I think that whole
Yeah.
game is one of the candidates. Dia won yesterday.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to bring up. That Camille team fight from Dia 1 that just won the game.
Yeah, super great play.
Well played, going right to his limits. I think trying to think of other specific plays. You see, it's hard. Again, it's hard with good plays because there's so many.
Yeah, I mean,
They sort of
Sorn in week one in one of the very first games on Elise, especially in the bot lane dive, that was so clean. There was one of the mechanically best executed plays so far we have seen. Super clean. Then yesterday, the series you sadly were not able to cast. As I said, the Slay with Lux, solo winning the team fight against an enemy Aatrox. Aatrox got the reset and instantly got stunned for 2 seconds by Lux. So Lux completely thwarted his attempts to get the game back in the favor of the enemy. I think that's one of the best support plays we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit I haven't gone back and watched that, so I'll take your word for it. I think it's hard to choose one, but I'm leaning towards the DR1 play purely because he instantly won a game.
Yeah, I think we have to give it. Maybe it was not the mechanically strongest play. I think Sorn's play probably was harder to pull off, but DR1's play had more impact. As you say, it immediately won the game. He punished the mistakes. Big mistake there by the enemy support going Yumi coming out of the of his ADC or her ADC, I should say, and instantly getting melted by 1Q from Camille. Yeah, DR1 executed that teamfight perfectly. So I think, yeah,
Yep.
let's give it over to him. In terms of team play, I think I still give the nod to the very, very well executed perfect game from Loki. Especially 2019 doesn't see a lot of perfect games, so
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It's so easy to break a perfect game.
yeah, that will be it for us today, I think. Thank you a lot for joining us. The first 2 weeks have been a blast. I have had so much fun casting together with you every day, and yeah, we'll be back after Rift Rivals.
Yeah, we should, it'll be feel weird next week not having some league to cast. But hopefully we see a good performance out of the VCS at Rift Rivals.
Yeah, I think we are sending two good teams, good VCS level teams to the Rift Rivals. We have pop-off potential from Sorn on EVOS. EVOS overall maybe not the greatest representative right now. We would probably like to send Flash over EVOS. But in the end, it's fair enough. EVOS gets the chance to get a little bit more synergy, get Miers integrated in the top lane. He struggled a little bit in the split. And then we have DBL with their volatile playstyle. Maybe they can take a game off maybe some LCK teams with their slower playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's a possibility, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys in 2 weeks.
Good night.